Yo, yo. Check and make sure it's working. All right, yeah, we in there. We on the fly frequency, y'all. These haters out here, man, we about to cook their toast, bro. They trying to say that Bud not undisputed. They telling all these lies, man. Talking about TEO was undisputed, but they don't want to let us get to the bottom of it, though. They want to kick us off the panel and all this crazy stuff, man. We gonna cook their toast now, though. It's all good. Let me show something.
Say, here is the reigning, defending, undefeated IBF, WBO, WBA, WBC franchise, and Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, the Takeover, Teofimo Lopez.
Y'all notice something there? That was when he's about to fight Cambosis. They did not say undisputed. I wonder why. Why didn't they say he was undisputed? See, they start all these lies, man. They start telling lies, and then they just got to keep telling lies. Because when they say TEO is undisputed, and then you ask them, well, was Cambosis undisputed? Because we know Cambosis is not recognized as undisputed. Cambosis is recognized as unified, and that's it. And we know that Cambosis beat Teofimo. See, that's what happened when you start telling lies. You got to keep telling lies. One of them dudes said Cambosis was undisputed too, bro.
Yo, man, listen.
Unbelievable.
You know what's crazy,
You're
bro? What's up, freak? What's up, bro? You know what's crazy, bro? I ain't gonna hijack your conversation, but real fast, it's just crazy to me that one of the greatest fighters of our generation just retired, right? And all they talking about is what he ain't and what he didn't do. Not
we gonna
crazy.
cook their toast for sure.
Oh man, shout out to O.
Shout out to Oskino, bro. We
I'm
gonna
a
cook
cook.
their toast
I'm
for
a
sure,
cookie
bro.
too. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like how we do our own people. The day Canelo retire, you're not gonna have a bunch of Mexicans talking about what he didn't do. They're not gonna talk about who he lost to or who he didn't fight. They're gonna talk about who he beat up, and they're gonna downplay his losses. Our community, we downplay our greats, and we boost the mid people.
Oh,
It's
don't worry,
crazy.
man. I got some proof, man. They trying to say that Bud not undisputed because you know the whole situation with him not paying the sanctioning fee
You
with the
you you
for the
might.
WBC. They trying to say that the WBC don't recognize him. But like I said, we gonna cook their toast, bro. I got
But listen, I saw his hand get raised in the ring, and I saw they say now the undisputed champion, Terrance Crawford. So I mean,
hey man,
but this is
hey
but that's how foul these dudes are because these same dudes we be talking about belts don't matter. Well, if the belt don't matter, how is Bud not undisputed?
I got proof on the WBC website, man. On their website, they say
No,
he's undisputed. So they cook now.
let's
They
not
cook.
even no. Let's not use the WBC because they can use that same thing as Mauricio lying, saying that
But what?
Tio
But
was the undisputed champion.
no,
Now,
I'm
see
no, but I'm saying, but it's not recognized on their site though. On their
what's
site
not recognized?
that he's undisputed. It don't
Who?
say
Oh, you talking about Tio?
yeah, Tio.
Yeah, no, I'm
It
talking. Yeah.
on the
Okay.
WBC
Well, yeah.
website, it actually say that Bud is they said
Yeah,
Bud is undisputed.
but everybody know Teofimo wasn't undisputed because Devin had the WBC and Teofimo had the franchise champion. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, they was capping about that.
Or
But look,
yeah,
yo,
they so anybody, I'm gonna say this to my homie Dank, man. Hey yo, you have
Yo,
too
it's
high
good
of a
here for boxing.
what's up, bro? Your IQ is too high to be over there with them goofy yelling ass niggas, bro. Excuse my language. You too. I was listening
Shout out to
earlier for a second, but I
yeah.
can't listen to that goofball dickhead scream. Excuse my
Nah,
language.
yo,
nah.
yo, but
I ain't
look,
gonna do that. Shout out to
yeah,
D.
yeah,
No,
don't
I
do
don't like
that,
Boy.
man.
He know.
Yeah,
Listen. I
yeah,
don't like
But
yeah.
Boy.
yeah,
He know the
don't
real.
do it,
Whatever
bro.
y'all got is y'all. But
I don't. All
Deem know what's up.
listen.
They
All the
no,
lying.
hold on. Let me
Listen.
just say this. They all know what's up when I pull up because I argue the facts. And
That's the thing though. When you
Yo,
are
that's
willing to
why they don't want that.
that's
That's why
my
they don't
problem
want to
though.
let you talk, bro.
When
When
you
you
when
talking
you
facts, they don't let you talk.
my
But look
problem
at
is
this right here, though, on the screen, yo. Look what they say right
Frequent,
there on the screen.
when
I
you
got some shit I
man,
want you
look.
to show.
I don't respect nobody who's willing to lie and downplay the facts to push a narrative, and that's what they do. You're not boxing fans.
No, but
Y'all are fans of men, and y'all ruining the game. The day
Hey,
where you
that
could sit, where you could go live for 4 hours and defend everything Javante doing, and simultaneously go 4 hours live and criticize Bud, you're not a boxing fan. You can't be. You a fan of nail polish and braids.
yeah, and look at this right at the bottom. What they
I
said,
hate
bro.
that shit, bro.
They said his unparalleled run includes becoming the first male boxer in history to be the undisputed champion in 3 weight divisions: super lightweight, welterweight, and super middleweight. This is right on the WBC website, bro. They recognize
Y'all,
they
man,
try to
listen.
lie and say the WBC don't recognize him as undisputed. They stripped him, but they didn't say they not saying that he not undisputed though. That he
My,
frequent. The argument earlier was that he was never undisputed, correct?
but they say right here he's undisputed. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but okay. So if let's look at it from their angle. Say he was never undisputed, right? Let's just say
what's up, buddy?
for shits and giggles, he was never undisputed, correct? How do you
Oh,
get how do you get stripped of something you never won?
exactly. I mean, they don't deal with logic though, bro. They don't
But this is
deal
what
with
I'm saying.
logic,
Like,
man.
bro, the fact that this is even a conversation means we need to shut down all conversations with people who push these narratives. Why are we even talking to these dudes?
Hey, man.
Y'all are pushing negativity. Why are we even having this
Look,
conversation?
I just want to see the best thing to do with that is to just bring the truth to light though. You
Yeah,
got to
man.
bring the truth
Sometimes,
to light. And so
man,
that's why I started off with
man.
this though. That's why I started off with
Say
this.
Good luck, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a
frequent
good one.
frequent. I
You too.
want you to. I'm gonna send you a couple things. I want you to play them because we heard it's
Excuse me.
whatever
Thank
we saw and
you.
we heard. But I heard let me ask you guys on the panel. Was Ryan Garcia ever the lightweight champion?
Ryan Garcia
Hell
wasn't
no,
the
he ain't
Ryan
never had
Garcia
no
ain't
he
the
ain't had
he
had
ain't
no
the champion
championship
in his
belt.
own household.
Hold that thought.
Man, we already know these announcers be saying they be announcing a lot of crazy stuff, man. It don't it don't be facts what they be
Let me
saying
let
all
me
the
let
time,
me
man.
let me let me ask y'all.
One time
Let me
they put Loma on the screen and said he ain't had no losses, bro. They
Yeah,
erased
that was
his
crazy.
losses.
That was crazy. I seen that
What we
shit.
supposed to acknowledge that,
So
because they said they was being disingenuous with that?
let me just ask y'all this real fast. If this conversation was centered around Javante Davis not paying the WBC and him being stripped of his title, do you think these same people be sitting here telling you that
Man,
Tank
I
wasn't
don't
undisputed?
even
Just get us some thought. These
hell
same
no.
dudes who fight for Tank's honor every single day. You think they be sitting here telling you that Tank was undisputed? They be telling you, I don't care if he paid or not. The bottom line is he won in the ring and he was undisputed. Take the belt. That's
Flyer.
what they would say.
Flyer, I
Yo,
just sent you something in the private chat.
So
Can
it's
you go to
certain
can you pull that up and
you
go to
gotta
50?
present it. You gotta present it because I'm on my phone, so it ain't gonna let me do it from the private
Okay,
chat or
let me
nothing.
on the iPad. Hold on one
man,
second.
these dudes are disgusting, bro. We looking at a living legend who did things his way. He beat the system, did everything on his terms. This the dude we gonna tear down.
Listen,
He showed y'all.
listen.
This dude showed y'all how
We're
to
not
game the system.
arguing. We're not arguing that the WBC isn't corrupt. They are corrupt. Tiafimo should have been the undisputed champion. That
No,
is
he shouldn't
correct.
have. He
No,
shouldn't have.
Uh,
listen, no,
well,
flyer,
they made Loma the
Because
flyer.
before
franchise
because
champion.
Loma didn't
No,
have it.
hold
That's
on. See,
why.
flyer, you gotta let me break this thing down, brother. I can break it down to the core, brother.
How he supposed to be, how he should have been. I gotta hear this part right here though.
Listen, he
Because
should listen.
first you gotta show me first you wait
Hold
before you
on.
do that though, first you gotta show me how Loma was undisputed.
No, let me
I mean
break it down. Flyer,
how Loma had the
flyer,
WBC
relax.
belt.
Flyer, the master is here. Relax, brother. Relax. All we got to do is go to April of 2019 when Mikey Garcia was the WBC lightweight champion of the world. And Lomachenko, who was the WBA and WBO unified champion, was calling for a fight with Mikey Garcia. Does anybody remember that?
He was trying to fight Mikey Garcia.
He was trying to unify with Mikey Garcia. Correct. Mikey Garcia was the 135 lightweight WBC champion. Mikey Garcia vacated the title in April of 2019. I don't know if anybody remembers around that time. he was looking to fight Errol Spence.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah. I remember that.
when the title was vacated, the WBC ordered um a tournament between Luke Campbell, Javier
Teofimo
Fortuna,
Lopez
Teofimo Lopez,
and
and
Devin
Devin
Haney.
Haney.
Yeah, I remember. And T.O.
Let me
pulled
break
out.
it,
That's what I was
brother. Let me
saying.
break
T.O.
it. Let
pulled
me
out.
break it down. Let me break it down to the T, because nobody's gonna break it down the way I'm gonna break it down. Right? The tournament was those four contestants. Can we all agree to that? That those were. Can you agree?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah,
Now,
cook, bro. Don't stop. Keep cooking. We listening. The
Teofimo
floor yours.
Lopez withdrew from the tournament. It was a final eliminator order, final eliminated order, or final eliminator ordered for TO to fight, and he pulled out and went the IBF route. That's how he fought Nakatani and got in position to fight Kome.
Yep. And knocked
Now,
out Richard Coleman.
I was at that
now,
fight. That was a good one.
after Teofimo pulled out of the tournament, it was announced that Campbell and Haney would fight for the vacant title.
And Loma and his team talked
Oh, oh,
Haney out of it and got the
no, no,
fight
no, no,
instead
no,
of
no,
him.
no, no. There was no talking out of nothing. That fight was ordered to be made. Correct.
Yeah.
What happened
But
was Lomachenko petitioned and was granted special favor as the WBA and WBO champion to fight for the vacant title against number one Luke Campbell in his quest to become undisputed. So therefore, Haney was put in a final eliminator against Zaire Abdelev for him to be the mandatory of the championship. Right?
yep.
Now, we all could go to the infamous clip at the Maurice Hooker and I believe it was Jose Ramirez fight, where they were all in the back. Eddie Hearn, Tevin Farmar, and Lou DiBella is at the podium, and the topic of discussion is the WBC franchise. Devin Haney and Bill Haney is to the side with Regis, and Champ Side is there, and he caught everything on footage. Bob Arum is sitting in the media section, and the discussion starts as Eddie Hearn says, "We don't want Loma. The plan is for Loma to beat, if Loma was to beat Campbell, they would franchise and freeze Devin Haney out from getting his opportunity."
Hey, Dank, let me
Right?
ask you a quick question, bro.
Go ahead.
Question. Do you remember all of this or you got this written down?
Listen, brother, I remember all of this.
You a bad boy, man. Keep cooking.
I
Yo,
remember
Keep
all
cooking.
of
yo,
this.
yo, you
Yo.
said you said Champside got on video of
On
them saying that they
video
was gonna
of Bob
franchise
Aaron,
before they did.
Bob Arum admitting Eddie Hearn threw the suggestion out, and Bob Arum agreed and said that very much well be the case.
But do you
Wow.
remember how history went? Because when Devin won
I'm
that,
getting there, brother. I'm getting there.
I
Right?
mean, but
Now,
it's an inconsistency with the with him planning to
Flyer, you
franchise
gotta let
before
me
then because he dropped
Flyer.
the belt
You
before he
gotta relax.
franchised.
Flyer, you gotta relax. You gotta let me explain it. Now let's go to August of 2019 when Lomachenko and Campbell fights, and Loma wins the WBC title. Right?
Yep,
Now he's the three-belt unified champion, along with the Ring Magazine champion. Correct? This is
yep.
August of 2019. Devin Haney fights Zarur Abdelev September 12th or 11th. 2 weeks later, for the
Loma dropped
for,
the belt two weeks
hold
later.
on, Flyer, hold on, Flyer. Let me break it down. That was the final eliminator, and then was petitioned by Matchroom and Team Haney in conjunction with Top Rank and Lomachenko that Devin Haney and Abdelev go from a final eliminator to an interim title bout. Stay with me. Devin Haney beats Abdelev for the interim title. Now comes the convention in October of 2019. I have video evidence of what's my boy from Top Rank? Carl Moretti on the Boxing Voice admitting that they requested the franchise championship for Lomachenko.
I mean, but I
Hold
got I
on, I'm
got
not
one
done.
better than that.
Brother,
Mauricio
hold on.
Suleiman said he petitioned for it. I was there
Exactly.
for it all too, bro.
See, what I'm explaining is better than what Mauricio
How
said.
what's better than the
Because
WBC
Carl Moretti
president
is a
himself saying
Carl
that
Moretti.
he
Listen,
petitioned for
Carl
it?
Moretti is a top rank executive. Carl Moretti is a top rank executive that admitted that they requested the franchise title, and
Yeah, so
also
we got
state,
two
wait, hold
sources
on,
then.
Flyer, you gotta let me break it down, brother. You gotta let me break it down. No skips, none of that. This is Get Rich or Die Trying 2002, 2003, all 21 fire, all 21 tracks straight fire. Now, we have Carl Moretti on camera admitting that they requested the franchise title, and the host, Nestor Gibbs, asked him, well, what about Haney? Well, Haney is irrelevant. Loma and when TEO beats Comey, or no, he said the winner of Lopez and Comey fights Loma for all the chips, and anybody else is irrelevant. Basically stating that the interim champion Devin Haney is irrelevant. Now, in said convention, Loma was granted the franchise status, and Devin was now the sole WBC champion. Now,
Bro,
I
you
got
no,
hold
bro.
on,
I gotta
wait,
stop you
Flyer,
there.
Flyer, hold on, hold on, hold
No,
on, hold on.
listen, I gotta
Flyer,
stop you there
wait,
because
wait,
you
wait, it's
kind of
getting
messing
good.
up the.
Wait, hold on,
I
it's
thought
getting
you was
good. It's
gonna get
getting
it right, but you kind of messing it up. Let me tell you
no,
how
Flyer, Flyer,
how it
Flyer,
went.
Flyer, you gotta
After
be patient.
Devin at no, listen,
Flyer, Flyer,
Hold,
no,
dang,
listen,
dang, dang,
bro.
dang. Let him cook, bro. You've been cooking for
Yeah,
10 minutes, bro. Let him
yeah,
okay,
cook.
go
Let
ahead.
him finish.
you mistaken right there, bro. After Devin beat Abdullah and became the interim champion.
Correct.
Devin immediately petitioned to Devin was trying to fight Lomachenko for the belt, and
Exactly.
Lomachenko dropped the belt. And Lomachenko dropped the belt first, and Devin Haney became the WBC champion before Loma became the franchise champion.
No, no, no,
And
no, 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 no,
Loma
no, no, no,
petitioned
no,
the
no.
WBC to become the franchise champion, and he
Flyer.
became the franchise champion because I remember it clear as day. What's the brother name who had barbershop conversations? I can't
Fred.
remember his name.
Flyer. I was getting
No,
there.
listen. The boy from barbershop conversations
Fred.
he ran down
Mauricio
on
Suleiman. Correct. Yes.
Mauricio Suleiman, and Mauricio Suleiman admitted live on camera that Lomachenko petitioned for the WBC franchise belt because people was trying to make an excuse for Lomachenko, and he on that video he said Devin Haney was the champion and Lomachenko was just the franchise champion, and the franchise champion was just a trophy, and Devin Haney was the true champion. That's on video, bro. That Devin Haney
Flyer. I
was the
was getting there,
champion
brother.
and Loma was not. Loma was the franchise champion because at that point, he said that the franchise champion was just made so fighters to move up and down on weight classes and get to fight other champions, get the best big money fights and stuff like that. Because Canelo had did it the same thing with
With
Jamal
Jamal
Charlo.
Charlo.
Yeah,
Correct.
so the way that the procedure went, you had to drop your belt first and then petition to get the franchise belt. So Jamal Charlo got the belt, and then Canelo became the franchise champion. And the same thing happened with Lomachenko, and it was caught on video with Mauricio Suleiman admitting it. And Fred, that's his name, Fred from
Fred, yes.
Barbershop Conversations. He had it on. He ran down on Mauricio Suleiman in the mall and recorded them saying it. And he started laughing. And from that point, everybody was laughing and making fun of Lomachenko because he dropped the belt because it was openly ducking Devin Haney. And then he doubled back and came and switched it as he went along. Then he switched it and said, "Oh no, Devin Haney is not the real champion. Devin Haney is just the pride champion." And that Lomachenko was the true champion. See, he changed it. At
Flyer.
first in that video, if you go back and look at that video by Fred, out of Mauricio Suleiman's mouth, he said that Devin Haney was the true champion and that Lomachenko, that the franchise champion was just a trophy. That's what he said. And that's why everybody say that Devin Haney was the champion and that TEO wasn't undisputed.
But you know what's crazy though? The people that complained once
So
upon a
so
time. Hold on, hold on fast. The people that
okay,
complained
go
about
ahead.
the people that complained about the franchise champion are now using the franchise champion to make arguments that are false. It's crazy. Y'all hated the franchise champion when they had, but now y'all actually using it to call people undisputed. That's crazy to me, bro.
Yo, but I just say that to say, Denk, that it's no way that you should that we should say that Teofimo Lopez was undisputed. Because if we say Teofimo Lopez was undisputed, then we gotta say that Kambosos was undisputed because
No,
Kambosos beat him.
you misread.
And at that time, and they changed it at that time. They for that one fight, they made it so that you can get the franchise belt in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So Kambosos, he got the franchise belt from TEO in the ring.
Hey, Freak, real
TEO had to
fast. Look,
petition
Sorry.
for it to get it from
hey, Freak,
Loma.
real quick. I'm going to back out for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to stay tuned in. I got to go grab my daughter from dance class real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
All right,
Flyer,
bro.
you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not saying he should have been he won it in the ring, but the politics played against him. He should have, rightfully so, he should have been, but the politics were not in his favor.
How he
Because
should have been though.
listen, the politics were not in his favor because Top Rank tried to go around Devin Haney.
No,
That's
TEO
what
went around Devin Haney too. He
no,
jumped out of that tournament.
exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by he should have been. That's what I
He
mean by
would
he
have.
should have
I
been.
think the word you want to use is would have been, not should have. He
Okay, yeah,
would have been
he
if he would have
would have
stayed
been,
in the
yeah.
tournament. If he would have beat Devin Haney
No.
or whatever.
What they were supposed to do was not do the franchise, right? If they were gonna unify, and then give Haney the shot afterwards. That's what I mean why the politics played against him. At this time, I was a fan of Teofimo, and I kind of felt bad for him. I still am a fan of Teofimo, and I felt bad for him because, due to their politics trying to go around Devin Haney, he was robbed of being undisputed. That's a fact.
No, he robbed. I think he robbed himself because he was ducking. He was trying to avoid Devin Haney, and
He
and
ducked after. Look, after he beat Loma, yes, he ducked. But before, what you call it?
he ducked again. He ducked
He
before
did duck
too.
out. He ducked out the tournament, went the IBF route, which was kind of a smart route. But the whole plot and the plan was to freeze Devin Haney out. That's what I mean by everything.
TEO is on record saying that he planned to after he said after he beat Kambosos, he
He
was
was
going to
gonna
drop
vacate it.
all the belts and Devin wasn't going to never become undisputed. But one thing he didn't take into consideration is that he could lose to Kambosos, and that's exactly what
Correct.
happened. If his plan got foiled.
Now, everything you
But
just explained.
look at
Hold
this
on,
what
before you
Rick
keep going.
Tim said though.
This is why
Yeah, I'm
Tito
saying
was
Rick
never
Timms was
undisputed.
there, bro. Me and him used to
Exactly.
be on for 9 channel arguing with him back and forth. That's why I know what happened because we went through that whole thing with a fine tooth comb, bro. We
Listen,
went through every little detail of what was going on, as far as that whole situation at 135 surrounding those belts.
look, everything you explained all happened in that same week at the WBC convention. They requested for the franchise. He vacated the belt, and Devin became the sole WBC champion.
Yeah.
I also have video evidence from Lomachenko on his official YouTube channel admitting that Devin Haney, that he vacated the title, and that's how Devin Haney became the champion.
But
I got
look,
evidence of all this.
only
If you got an email, I can email it to you, and you can pull it up that way, so you can show all
no,
the
no,
views.
you just gotta present it. If you present it, it'll pop up down on here, and I can just put it on the screen if you present it.
So I put something in the chat. The Ryan Garcia. You see that?
In what? In the private chat?
Yeah. Is that where I presented at?
No, you gotta present it on are you in
Oh, on
StreamYard
the
right now?
YouTube. Okay, I could go to the YouTube. Hold on.
You gotta be in StreamYard and do it.
Yeah, I'm in StreamYard.
Okay, so you know how you take and you put somebody on the screen and take them off, like how you put somebody on a panel. You gotta hit the present or invite button right there. That
Oh
square
shit!
right
Now I don't
there.
got that feature on my phone.
What you got an Apple iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh,
Figures.
you could only do that on Android.
Yeah, you could do it on Android, but I
Oh,
thought you could
okay,
do it
okay.
on iPhone too, though. I don't know
Nah,
why.
yeah,
Why not?
I don't got that. I don't got that feature.
Well, man, but this is the main thing right here that I wanted to show. You know what I'm saying? Who cares what about TEO? That's old news right there. You know what I'm saying? But this right here, Bud Crawford is 3 times undisputed, bro. He became undisputed in that ring. He still was undisputed afterwards. And they stripped him, but he ain't fighting no more. That was his last fight. He don't gotta fight. He don't even gotta fight no more.
Man, listen, this is all conversation rooted in trying to devalue and discredit the legacy of Terrance Crawford, bro. Like, I've never heard more lazier or weaker narratives. And I wouldn't have a problem with the narratives as much if these same people weren't trying to act like Gervonta Davis is God's gift to the sport. I
This
don't,
is
man,
yo.
whatever.
I noticed you keep saying Tank. I don't
Hold on.
really want to bring Tank up. Tank up.
I'm trying not to, but
But I gotta say
everybody
this
who,
though. But no,
Can
but
I
you.
ask you
I
guys?
but
understand why though. It's just the Tank fans
it's
who be saying
crazy.
these things, bro.
And
Yo,
that's why I keep using
That's the
him, because
common denominator. It's always a
if y'all
Tank
gonna
fan who
bomb,
don't want to give
if
props to
my,
another fighter,
that's what I'm
bro.
saying. If
Why?
y'all gonna bomb on Bud like this, what are y'all saying about Gervonta Davis? Because Tank ain't never come close to what Bud has done. So if y'all feel
yo,
this way about Bud, tell me how you really feel about Tank.
yo.
That's all I'm asking.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
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 we hear
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Ryan Garcia was never WBC lightweight champion, right?
Yeah,
Like I
we
said, he
know
was never
that.
any champion.
Can y'all just listen up real quick?
Go ahead.
Lightweight champion of the world. Can y'all hear that?
Oh yeah, they be making yeah. See, when the
Hold on. Let me
announcers
just play
say
it.
stuff in the ring, they be making mistakes and all that. They be telling lies and everything. So
But
for
they supposed to be
somebody
reading
to
off of
go
a
by
card.
that,
So I mean,
Coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBC lightweight champion of the world. He is the fighting pride of the high desert from Victorville, California. Presenting King Ray
nah,
Garcia.
that's crazy.
That's not
Did we all
crazy.
just hear
That's
that?
hey,
not crazy. That's
That's
not
they be
crazy.
crazy.
saying anything at them Jones, man.
That's
Did y'all
not.
just hear?
That's not crazy because he had the silver belt,
Come on, bro.
and
And
that's
this
what.
is
The
No,
and
silver
no, no,
belt
no.
this
Hold
is
on,
is
hold
why
on.
come on,
No,
bro.
this is
listen,
why
man.
we need
Listen
this is
to
why
me.
we need
Listen to
one
me.
belt. This is why we need one belt.
Exactly. Hold on. Let me rock.
No, the
I
silver
listen
belt
to
is an
y'all.
interim title
I
though.
Did y'all hear
understand
that?
what it
Did
is.
y'all
I
hear that
understand. Hold
clearly?
on. Hold on. Hold
Ray
on.
Davis, before you go,
Oh,
did everyone hear that clearly?
Yes, we
Ray,
heard it.
Ray,
Yeah.
Ray about to break it
That
okay,
was
down.
Ryan
that's
Garcia
fine.
versus Oscar Duarte. That fight was what?
That was
Right
not
before the
right.
Devin Haney fight, and they
Yeah,
just
so he
announced
wasn't the
Ryan
interim
Garcia.
champion right there, right?
Say
No,
that again.
He wasn't the interim champion in that fight.
They did. They announced him as the former WBC lightweight champion.
Yeah, I know. It's
yeah.
Well, let me
diabolical,
ask
bro.
y'all.
And
Let
if
me
you
ask y'all.
wait,
Diabolical.
hold on.
Let me
If
ask
you
a
pull
quick
up, if
question.
you
Let me
pull up
ask
the
a quick
fight with
question.
him versus Tank Davis, Jimmy Lennon announced him as the former WBC interim lightweight champion. This, what I just played for you, is on the Golden Boy show. That
Exactly.
proves that your promotional company will lie for you to
Yep.
make you look good, and that's exactly what Top Rank
Real
did
quick. Do,
for
Yes.
Tiafimo when he
do,
beat Lomachenko. Go
do
ahead.
we
Correct.
have
Hold
to
up.
pay?
Let
Do
let
we
here
have
for
to pay
boxing go.
sanctioning? Real quick,
I,
just a quick. Do you have to pay sanctioning fees on all these interims and regulars and all
Yes,
that?
yes.
you
Yep,
do. Yes,
absolutely,
And
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
yes.
that's why there's
Yep.
so many. That's why there's so many belts
But
causing all this
No,
but
you
confusion.
hold
have to
on.
pay
So
sanctioning fees for rankings as well.
Really, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yes,
know that you had to pay for your ranking
yes,
spot. Really,
yeah,
that's
you pay.
yes.
You got to
Yeah,
pay to
man.
be.
That's
yeah.
a
You got.
man.
Hold
That's
on.
a monopoly, man.
Yeah, they got to
Man,
pay to
that's
be in.
crazy.
They got to pay to be in the organization. They got to or to be
Wow.
sanctioned. They got to pay to hold the title.
Yo, that I
So
never knew that. I knew about holding the belt, obviously, but I didn't know the rankings and all that. I
yeah,
didn't know you
yeah.
had to pay a sanctioning
So,
fee.
I just wanted to play that to
but
show
I'm
y'all
glad.
that
No, I'm glad
earlier
you.
when I
I'm
brought up
glad you.
Ryan Garcia. That's what I meant by your promotional company will lie
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you to
yeah.
make you look good in the light.
Well, that
That's
was
all
the
I'm
sell
saying.
the fight. So, Dave Father, I check it. I heard this before, right? So that's the sell the fight. Top Rank had to sell it. Why? Because they had two champions in the ring. By them selling it as an undisputed fight, even though Loma was a franchise champion, that unification was only sold on Top Rank. If you, I said actually Freak was something earlier, and if you listen to both announcements when he fought Cambosis, it was for the WBO, the IBF, WBA, and the franchise belts. They never said undisputed. Then when both Cambosis won, they said the same thing. They never mentioned undisputed in that fight whatsoever. Why? Because it wasn't on Top Rank, and
Exactly.
they knew Devin Haney was the champion. So regardless of how they put it or what they say, the franchise belt was made for one reason. Another point I want to make that Frequent touched on was when the franchise belt was introduced and Canelo had got the first franchise belt. What did Canelo have to do when he moved after he moved back down from 175 to 168? What did he have to do?
He
Anybody?
vacated he vacated the
Please.
WBC title and went into a unification with Danny Jacobs.
No, he didn't vacate. He went and won the
How you feel about your
WBC title. He
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
win it.
because they had already
No,
stripped.
no,
He had
Ray
already
Davis.
got stripped, and it
I
was
think you
given
get.
to Jamal
David
Charlo.
No. I
Benavidez
think you
title.
got it confused with 68, and you got 60 and 68 confused, brother.
Hold on. He was a franchise champion, right?
At 160,
Right. He moved up to light. He moved up to light heavyweight.
to fight Kovalev for the WBO, correct?
Right. Right. And what did they say at that point before they even announced anybody else having a franchise belt? What was the answer? The franchise belt is a protection for that champion to move up and down in weights and still allowed
Exactly.
to keep
It
his
was just
belt.
a trophy too.
It was
Correct.
a trophy. It was just
It
an
couldn't be one in
acknowledgement.
inside the ring.
But when he moved back down from Kovalev at 168,
No,
with
no.
okay, listen. When he moved to 168, all right, let's clarify this. When he moved
Ray,
to
you got
168,
your
no,
timeline all wrong.
no. Just hear me out. All right, we're gonna leave 160 out of this. So I'm trying to make a point. When he moved 168, he was still the franchise champion. He never relinquished his franchise belt. He had to fight for the WBC title, right? Did David Benavidez title go up for grabs and he fought for it?
When he fought Callum Smith at 168.
Right. So when he fought him, he was still the franchise champion.
Correct.
Okay, so why would he have to fight for a belt that he's the champion of when he moves to a division? That
Okay, I see what
that
you're saying.
shuts everybody's answers down right there. All that bullshit that they be saying and spewing. Why would you fight for something if you're already the champion?
No, because it was just a trophy at that point. Is what I'm
Exactly. It
saying.
was always. It still
Mauricio
was.
Suleiman cleared it up in that whole video by Fred. When Fred ran
Wasn't that
down on him,
right?
he asked him about the franchise. That was his question about the franchise title, and he started running down every detail
Right.
about what the
Okay.
franchise title was. He said it
Dope.
couldn't be won in the ring. It was non-transferable in the ring. He said
Okay.
it was just a trophy. It was made for the uh the high the best
It
fighter
was
to
My
move
bad.
up and
yeah, for
down on the
move up
weight in
and
the weight
yeah.
classes, without having to face a mandatory or nothing like that.
Facts.
And he said that, and the last thing that he said was that Lomachenko petitioned for it. Canelo and Lomachenko had to petition for it.
No, they awarded Canelo that belt.
Well, but they stripped him first though. Jamal, they stripped the point that I was
Listen,
saying
no,
making
No, they
flyer,
is
did.
Jamal
flyer,
Charlo got
flyer.
the
When
WBC
when
belt
you
before he
request
got the franchise. Same
when you
thing with
request
Devin.
it,
Devin got the belt before Loma became franchise.
He
no,
did.
flyer. It all happened at the same time. Trust me, it all happened in the same week. They requested for the franchise. He vacated the title, became the franchise champion, and Devin Haney was now elevated to the real champion. It all happened in the same week.
I know it happened
And
in the same week, but we knew that Devin Haney was the WBC champion, and Lomachenko. It came out that he dropped the title first though,
yep.
and then because he had to petition to get to the
Yeah, that day
franchise
that news
belt.
came out like a day later or something like that. It all happened in the same week.
Well, regardless, right? And another point I was trying to make is when he moved back up, what belt did he fight Bibble for?
The WBA light heavyweight title.
Okay. So Bibble So he fought Bibble for the WBA, right? Still remaining the WBC champion at 147. And still holding on to his franchise belt, which allowed him to keep his titles at 168. Correct? That was the whole point of the franchise belt. They all agreed that if you had the franchise belt and you held on to that belt, you would not be able to, you know what I mean? You could move up and down in the weights. And that's
Hey,
when he
hold on,
moved
let me
back
get
up.
this super
But
chat.
see, he was moving up and down in weight before that franchise shit. They just used that franchise shit to avoid Jamal Charlo, Loma did it to avoid Devin Haney. That's just the
Right.
whole point of everything.
All right. So at the end of the day, it's not a real title. It was
Correct.
never a real title.
Hey yo, shout out to Horror LE1L for the $1 holler. I appreciate you, bro. He ain't
It's
say
just
nothing. I don't think they I
it's
don't think they
crazy
let
they're
you say
trying to
nothing.
spin this thing and then try to spin it into the WBA regular and the WBA super.
That's two different things. And I
Free
heard,
cash lasts me and my family for the rest of our lives. I'm rich, bitch.
you know,
These
um,
these
Got
guys
that
will
dollar
really sit
holler
up
on
here.
y'all.
Hold on, these guys will really sit up here and tell you that Marat Gasov Giasov or whatever the hell you want to call him, the guy who just beat Kubrat Pulev, that he's the real WBA heavyweight champion, and the belt that he's got is the one that's got the lineage, and that's the one Ali had.
But
These
listen,
guys are
fellas, though.
savages.
hold
But
on.
listen though, fellas, why people argue that Teofimo Lopez was undisputed sometimes, but they never argued that Kambosos was undisputed though. They always just cool with him just being unified. You know, nobody ever says, yo, he was undisputed because he definitely beat Teofimo Lopez, bro. He beat him. And then and then what makes it even worse is the fact they had changed the way that the franchise belt handled if you beat somebody who have it, because they gave the franchise belt to him without him even petitioning for it. He won it in the ring. They made it transferable in the ring for that fight. And they still don't say that he was undisputed. They got him down as a unified champion.
Listen,
You got,
Top Rank was under ESPN. ESPN has the full undisputed list, and Tiafimo is not on the list. Cambosis is not on the list. It just
right.
is what it is. These guys think because you like Devin and somehow you're just capping. Bro, the truth is the truth, brother.
Here's the thing. They
It is
ki-
what it is.
they kicked Devins back in for never winning a title, right? I mean, sorry for getting a title delivered to him. But then he
Email,
goes,
yeah.
but yeah. But then he goes and wins the other three titles. But then the guy that had the secondary title had to fight somebody for a vacant title and never beat no champions but one. Even when he had the IBF championship, they took it from him. He had to fight for the vacant IBF again.
Hey, let me get this super sticker. Shout out to dang, I got two of them down here. Shout out to Ox68B for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate you, bro.
This is all the discredit, bud.
Straight cash lasts me and my family for the rest of our lives. I'm rich, bitch.
Hey, yo, is Blaze, are you there, bro? I ain't hear nothing from Blaze all the whole time.
So Blaze in the house.
Shout out Blaze. Good
He
boxing
popped up
mind.
here and I
He,
had to
he
bring him back
muted.
up a
He
couple
muted.
times. He might be having issues.
No, he muted. Here you go.
I'm here. I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear
See
you.
this
What's good, bro?
WBC belt got strapped across my chest. WBC belt.
Oh, you transforming though now. I don't know what's going on with you.
Circuit breaker.
Peep game, peep game. I'm about to tell you. Because this is what I want about this belt. The problem with
No,
the
I mean your
WBC. This
connection,
belt
bro. Your
is
connection was
actually.
bad.
Oh, is it good now? Can you hear me now? Hold
Yeah,
up.
you
Yeah.
Gucci
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. It's a little better now. Go
Let's
ahead.
see if I can. Okay, what about now? It should be better now.
Yo, you was
Got
good.
a
Better
little
now.
worse than you was just good just a minute ago.
Now
Still
Nah,
I'm
choppy.
still
You sound like
here on my
Optimus
off and
about to
hop back on.
transform, bro.
nah.
Still.
Trying. Yeah, you was
What up,
good a
bro?
minute ago.
Yeah, I think he wanted to add something about the WBC, but
Yeah,
once we
but
get it straightened out, go ahead.
I was saying, even that WBA was crazy, bro. Like that whole narrative on that is nuts. Talking about the WBA is the belt Ali had. Man, the WBA Super was was made for a reason. I heard somebody say that another person said that, oh, well, it's a real belt that Ali had. First of all, do you know why they made the WBA Super? They made it because of the situation that happened to Lennox Lewis, and then the fact that they had two champions in one division. They ended up creating it because it was a unified division. And they said, well, how did Loma get it? And the question was, how did Loma get it? Because he wasn't unified yet. That's because they had three champions at top rank. And they knew they was moving Loma into the next fight for a champion. I talked to Frequent about this before. His next fight after that was what? Pedraza, right? So he won another belt right after that. No, it wasn't Pedraza. It was Luke Campbell. My bad. It was Luke
Hey
Campbell.
Ray, who is this our guy, Brad?
Yeah, see. Hold on.
No. When
That's
he beat
Bradley
Lennar,
68, right?
he beat Linares and unified the WBO and WBA.
Yeah.
That's when he was granted the super championship.
Oh,
Now
so he
you get the super title when you unify or you
so he
have
beat the
five
Pedraza
or
for the
when
WBA.
listen, when you have 5
No,
or
I'm trying
10,
to figure the order.
hold
The
on.
order was
You get the super. Go ahead.
no, I'm asking about the order because remember when he fought for that WBA title, Linares was the WBA champion, but the next fight, the winner of that fight was getting the unified champion. I believe it was Pedraza. I don't know why I want to say it was Pedraza before Luke Campbell.
After the Linares fought, he went into the Luke Campbell fight
It was Luke Campbell first.
and
Okay, Luke
fought for
Campbell
the
first.
he put his WBA and his
Okay,
WBO title on the line, and they fought for the vacant WBC title, which was recently vacated by Marky Garcia.
right. Okay, there you go. Right. Okay. And then they went in for then he went for Pedraza for the other belt. Right.
No, after he fought Pedraza, after he fought Campbell, he went into the Teofimo Lopez fight.
No, because he had two. I thought he had three belts. He went and got the
Pedraza
third
fight
belt.
was for the WBO, or it was either a title defense or was something like that. I think he might have beat Pedraza for the WBO.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that was before
So
Luke
he
Campbell.
beat Pedraza, he beat Linares, then he beat Campbell, then went into the Teofimo fight.
I think Pedraza was after Linares, and then it was a vacant belt, the WBC. I think he had got two titles because Pedraza had just
Yeah,
beat
yeah, they definitely gave him two titles. They remember they put the WBA Super in there with
Linares
the
for the
other
first
belt.
title when
No,
he got the.
Linares was the WBA champion, guys.
I know that, but
Yeah,
they
but they
but
gave
they
him the
put the
super
WBA
title though.
Him,
Super on
him
the
ver-
line.
when he beat Linares, they gave him the super title. That's after he
Yeah,
Yeah.
beat Linares. He was
right.
the WBO and WBA champion going
No,
into
he was
going
nah.
No,
into the
no,
Luke
no,
Campbell
no,
fight.
No,
no,
it
no, no,
wasn't.
no.
No, it was his
They gave
first
him the
belt was
WB. Look,
Linares.
that's the one. Listen, that's the one unicorn in history where they just gave somebody the WBA Super before they
Correct.
was unified. They gave
No,
it to him.
flyer,
Yes.
They
flyer.
gave it
Listen,
to
No,
him,
flyer,
no.
flyer. Okay, I'm pulling it up
and
on
he
my.
promised
Pull it
that
up.
he was going to fight the WBO champion.
Correct, which was Pedraza. And the reason, and he's actually 100% right because the WBA champion, when he got that, the winner of that fight was supposed to get the fighter of the WBO title. It was the next fight. So whoever won that fight was going to be unified. So they petitioned to have that person raised to the super status in that fight. That's why the winner of that fight became the super champion. And then that belt was dropped, and then Javante and Gamboa fought for the regular title.
Go ahead. You can finish cooking because I'm trying to do something real quick. I'm
Oh
trying
no,
to
I did.
finish
I
something.
know he said he was looking up something, so I'm waiting for him to pull it up. But if Blaze can get on, I'm
All
waiting.
right, yeah. No, but
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah,
yeah,
clear.
yeah.
Guys. He fought Jose Pedraza for the WBO lightweight title. Then he
When?
defended it against Anthony Corolla. Oh yeah, you guys are correct. It was Linares first, then Pedraza, then
Right,
Corolla, then Campbell. You're
right.
correct. Go ahead.
That's
Yeah,
all
so
right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Blaze was
yeah.
talking.
So Lomachenko, he had three belts originally, but then he dropped the WBC, and Devin had the WBC title, and he had the franchise title that he petitioned for. And so he went into that fight after Teofimo Lopez beat Comey. He went into that fight to with the franchise belt and not the WBC world title. And
Right.
so after before the fight, Teofimo Lopez let it be known that he had to petition the WBC to
Yep.
allow him to get that franchise belt off him if he beat him. He
Yep.
said that in
It's
an
a
interview.
yeah.
And so because it was still non-transferable, so it wasn't the real title. You can't
Yeah.
become undisputed off a petition, bro. And that's why none of the other sanctioning bodies recognize him as undisputed. Nobody else. The only person would say he is undisputed is people who don't like Devin Haney.
Right. And if you actually frequent, you did get it. You messed up. It was Bob Arum that was interviewed and said that they petitioned for TEO to get that belt 2 weeks before the fight.
No, TEO said it too. He said he had to petition. He said it in the interview too. He said he
Okay.
had to
Yeah,
petition
I
to
think
get
that was
the
after.
belt.
Yeah, I think that was after the release of Bob Arum saying it though.
And
I
this
think
my whole thing. If TEO know that he wasn't undisputed himself, why are y'all trying to argue it for him? He was right on the Breakfast Club, saying, well, they don't recognize me as undisputed, so why they shouldn't recognize Bud either. Technically, that's what he said out his mouth. He know that he not undisputed. He know that people don't recognize him as undisputed. So I don't know why people try to argue and say that he was undisputed if he don't even recognize that he was. He say he should have been. That's what he say.
Can y'all see my screen? What that
Yeah,
says?
it looks sideways though. It's the wrong way. It's not right side up. Okay.
there you go.
Right here, Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko. Does anybody see the WBC title on the line?
Nope.
I can't see that.
And this is the WBA website. This shows that the WBA doesn't recognize the
I mean, I
WBC
just said that
franchise.
none of the other sanctioning bodies recognize him as undisputed. They didn't recognize that none of the other sanctioning bodies recognized the franchise belt, and that's why he didn't go into history as an undisputed champion.
Right.
And that's why that's why Kambosos didn't go into history as the undisputed champion, because if TEO was undisputed, Kambosos would definitely be undisputed. But yo, you remember when we was over there on that panel, bro? Somebody asked was Kambosos undisputed, and they said, yeah, bro. And I
Frequent.
said, that's what happens when you lie. You got to keep telling lies in order for it to be right.
Why don't you play
Once
that
you
video?
tell one lie, you got to keep telling a bunch of them.
Why don't you play them clips I sent you? The entrance to that fight with Kambosos?
Here is the reigning, defending, undefeated IBF, WBO, WBA, WBC franchise, and Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, the Takeover, Teofimo Lopez.
Where's the other one? When he won, when Kambosos won.
Yeah, they didn't say that he was undisputed.
Right.
So
Exactly. And where's the one after that? Check the other
I
one.
don't got that one. I
I sent you
didn't see
both.
that one.
It's in there. It's the one I sent you after.
I probably missed it because I was already live by the time
Oh,
I checked it. I
you
didn't
whack.
get a chance to
You whack.
download it or whatnot.
You
You
whack.
could present it though, but I can't click
I
on a
can't.
link because it'll take me out.
No, I can't from here because I'm in the I don't know how to do it from here though.
Well, it's all good. That's all we need is that right there though,
Yeah. But the other, when you listen to the other one later, you can be like, yo, that's crazy. Same thing. They
But
never announced him the champion. Let me see if I can present it.
but look, they were saying that the WBC don't recognize Bud as 3 times undisputed. But look, it's right there, bro, on their website, the WBC website, right there at the bottom. What it say?
That's
And
why.
that's I mean, listen, man, when you get to going back and forth with these guys on the internet, it done got too far, man. Because even when we talking about these sanctioning fees, frequency, when we was going back and forth with all these guys about, the not knowing what the actual number, the percentage is supposed to come off of, whether something was negotiated beforehand. And then as we done all did our research, we know that there's ranking fees to get ranked. We know there's pre-fight fees. We know there's maintenance fees. There's all types of different fees that boxers pay,
Yeah,
dealing with these
it's
sanctioning bodies.
diabolical.
It's
These sanctioning
diabolical.
bodies eating, yo.
Yeah, so when we hear Suleiman and we hear Bud go back and forth about some money, about some fees, we don't even know the specific fees in the historical context about how those fees get negotiated and paid for in the first place. And then, like as you say, he I believe I don't have the information to this, but from my research, it seems like you pay fight fees. It seems like you pay the fees to fight for the belt. So he paid the see. It appears that he paid the fees to get ranked in the WBC. Then he paid the fees to fight Canelo for that belt, but he didn't pay some fees after that because that's why they're not saying that, oh, they're stripping him, like he's not recognizing him of ever having that title. And he still got those titles. He still got those actual belts that they give him. Right. And I got this picture up. I put this picture up today. I switched my picture up and I got this picture of this WBC belt. This belt that I got over my chest in this picture right here is from Mauricio Suleiman. I actually met him that night when I had this belt. This belt actually belongs now to Box Eyes View. He's a YouTuber that streams the Undisputed video game. He won the content creator tournament in Vegas, that Friday before that fight. But I'm just saying,
Hmm.
they just passed these belts out, and I'm sure this belt's probably constructed of the same material that the one Bud got and everybody else got, right? These belts they don't really like, are not worth physically anything. Right? And
Right.
but other than the branding for when fighters come in on the front end to put themselves in position to raise their profile by being champion. So, when you first come into the fight game, the belts are bigger than you. But if you have success within the fight game and move and complete multiple divisions, then you ultimately become bigger than the belt or bigger than the sanctioning body, especially if you're the one that's going to garner the most sanctioning fees for that particular sanctioning body. That's why you have a Ryan Garcia. That's why you have a Ryan Garcia running around continuing to get title shots because they know if he wins or they let him fight for the belt, this the biggest bag that
It's
they
gonna
get
be
a
some
percentage
money
fee off
involved.
of.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
look,
Absolutely.
that's how you got with the Fulton and the Shockey. And I believe, like I told Ray before the fight, remember I was telling y'all, I believe Fulton kept it 100 with the WBC, told him he was gonna go over. They all kind of knew because no sooner than he went overweight, they immediately put the 135 interim belt up, right?
Facts.
Like they doing them
Facts.
guys a favor. But what it is no, they got two names right here that got names right now that they can charge sanctioning fees for. And I let
Facts.
my plane
Hey,
right
So
it's
there.
here's the biggest thing about this. One, I don't know if Frequent mentioned this already, but there's a cap on what they charge for sanctions. Period. So
yeah. For the
if it goes
WBC,
over
it's
the
300K.
right, if it's a percentage and it hits a cap, that cap, it doesn't go over that amount. Number one. Number two, if Bud was supposed to pay a different amount or whatever the case may be, then that means that they're banking on what Canelo made. The guy is unsure of what he did. He's unsure of numbers, and all he can do is put him on blast. Now, somebody said because it was at the WBC convention, that's why it happened. That's not why it happened. He did it because he's missing that bag that he would have got if Canelo had won. So at the end of the day, if you wanted that money and you had rights to that money, what's the best way of handling the situation? You go get your lawyer and have your lawyers send a request to go get your money, and then you meet this guy in court. Why hasn't that happened yet? Why haven't we heard anything going on the legal scales? Because it's not. It's just something that he's hypothetically saying. He doesn't know the numbers. He doesn't know what's going on. They agreed to amount. He's being greedy. Then he's asking them for money for a fight that wasn't even sanctioned by the WBC, which is a manager ball fight because he ranked him as the mandatory to the WBC, and somebody else fought for it. He's diabolical for that? That has nothing to
Hey
do with
man,
none of them.
Let me
hey,
get in. Can I play something real quick?
what you got? Go ahead.
Wait. Before that, TEO and Loma happened on what promotional company?
Top rank. That's why they were both top rank fighters.
Hold on. Devin and Cambosis happened on what? Top.
Top rank.
Where did it happen?
Top rank.
Pride of all Australia, the reigning, defending WBA, WBO, IBF, and ring lightweight champion of the world,
Thank you.
George Russell.
Motion detected at the front door.
why? Why
Yeah,
did they not?
exactly.
Why did they
This was
announce him?
done purposely.
Right.
Make them believe. Auto war, baby. Deception. Make them believe
Exactly.
this was done purposely.
Hey man, I never liked the way that the WBC move, yo. I always thought they move kind of crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
They
the
playing
sanctioning
hopscotch,
fees
bro.
that like you said, Ray, it's a cap on the sanctioning fees. So if Bud made over 50 million, 50 million or over, even over 50 million, it's still going to come out to that 300K that Mauricio Suleiman was talking about. So him acting like he doing Bud a favor by make only taking 0.6% and all of that stuff. It don't matter, man. He just being a snake, bro.
Yeah, exactly. He's just
You
yeah,
know what I'm
he's
saying?
just check.
Because if
Let me
it's a
get in on this, Bud.
300K cap on it, that's what it's gonna be anyway. You ain't doing them no favors and all of that. And so on, but that being said, though, I think that it's a lot of belts going around and everything. I think they have too many belts in boxing, with all of these gold and silver, and you got all these different color belts. You got belt, one belt, one championship belt per sanctioning body should be all that they should be able to have. And maybe an interim title to allow somebody to get to fight the champion. But I think that having multiple titles is definitely a necessary evil, though. I think I like the idea of it being four champions for the four sanctioning bodies, but I think that they should make some addition to the Muhammad Ali Act or something that forces these champions to fight each other, though, because that's where the problem is at. The
But the
ranking
yeah,
system
but
is okay, what I'm
Nah,
saying, with
it's
people having mandatories and all of that and moving up in the ranking system, that's good, but it's still little ways that people can get around
but
the best fighting the
but
best because the champions
but
don't have to fight each other.
but Flyer, the thing is they got these body sanctioning bodies that's so called supposed to be like governing bodies with rules, and there's no rules to them. Anybody can get moved anywhere in the rankings. Anybody can get elevated to champion. Anybody can get elevated to interim. Then depending on how they rank you, they can force a mandatory that might not be justified. Like it don't. It's all politics, bro. And then when you look behind the curtain, you really see that it's really about the money. That's why you see a Connor
Yo,
Ben jumping
Yo,
down and
and
being ranked in WBC.
that's why when they talk about revising the Muhammad Ali Act and people be acting crazy, I be thinking like, yo, it needs some revision. I wouldn't say
Yeah, but
take
the
it
thing
away.
is but the thing is, Flyer, the Muhammad Ali Act is a United States law. We're talking about international. We're talking about international business right here.
well, you gotta
But it's
also
in boxing though. But I don't think boxing. I think it's for boxing.
I
The
think
A
Yeah,
the
but it's
ABA
they can't
regulates all of
control
that,
other
right?
countries though.
Regulates all of, but don't the
so.
ABA regulate all of boxing? I think it's called the ABA.
No. They don't have a council. No, there's no council for boxing. There's just like it's basically every sanctioning body deals with different commissions and things like that. There is like a boxing organization, but they're all linked together. Like there's no like no head, no chief, no commissioner, nothing like that. That's what they need in boxing. If they get a commissioner or some type of head of boxing or council, then they can make things work better. I hate to say it, like the Zuffa thing may expose boxing due to that. You know what I mean? Even though there's a lot of things going on now. The Ali Act, what sanctioning body? Well, especially the WBC, to be specific, which one of them or what is the WBC even following the Ali Act? That's what it comes down to. Because look at the advantage they take. Is the promoters following the sanction? Did they find loopholes in the sanctioning bodies? Because if you look at that, the fighters aren't getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid and things like that. They find ways of the loopholes. And why did they do that? Because they're not promoters; they're promotional companies. And them being promotional companies, they found a way to exercise their rights for the promoters not to. I'm sorry, for the promotional companies to exercise every full rights to collect more money from them and sign them to deals and long term deals. So they're getting over it. The Ali Act is kind of like stuck to the United States and they're getting over on them.
Let me get in on this Bud conversation. Couple things happened. Mauricio came out and said he didn't get paid at all and kind of took a nasty angle at everything. Um, kind of saying Bud should apologize, and and that he owed sanctioning fees for the Madrimov fight, which I thought was kind of crazy because they didn't actually fight for any WBC title in that fight. The winner was awarded a WBC trinket Riyadh season belt, which had nothing to do with the rankings because that was for the WBA title and the interim WBO title. So I kind of thought that was crazy that Mauricio came out and that I came out and said that, and that they were demanding sanctioning fees for that fight as well. Um the whole thing is what Bud responded. I think he just didn't like the way the angle Mauricio came at him with. You know what I'm saying? Demanding the apology and kind of just coming off like real disrespectful and trying to treat Bud like he was beneath him. And then I think Bud was also mad that he disclosed his full amount that he got for the Canelo fight as well. I think that's what pissed Bud off as well.
Facts. I mean, it is. You're right. And the fact that they just try to, like I said, the whole exposure of it, the whole thing is, and listen to one key point that you said, right? Mauricio Suleiman made a statement. Excuse me, my bad. Talking about, you know, what I mean, he owes why he owes the money and whatever the case may be. Why does he owe you this money if he wasn't in your sanctioning fight, right? Your sanctioned fight. Why would
Exactly.
he owe you why would he owe you that money? You know, and you're trying to put that out there as he does. When was that on the line? When did you sanction that? So the whole thing is I'm sorry, laughing at 2 cents. Oh man, when did that become an issue? So Mauricio Suleiman made this statement up. He made it up because the fact that he was upset that he wasn't getting more money than what he was promised, and if even if it was the fact is that's your money. Where's your lawyer at? Why aren't we out there trying to get this money through the legal system? Because that's how you handle business. Am I not right? The man said, "I'm not paying you shit." So if he's telling you that, that means that you're doing something wrong. That means that it's not legitimate. If you ain't got no lawsuit, why wait till you have a your WBC council meeting or whatever it is to make an announcement publicly about Bud Crawford and you stripping him? That was crazy.
Yeah, but it seemed like these people think that these sanctioning bodies had the ultimate say so in the fight. You know, when that's not true at all. The state commission, you know, actually has the ultimate say so. You know, as far as a boxing match, you know, rules and everything. Because I heard somebody say that the if the WBC, you know, the WBC had to sanction the fight, like the fight wouldn't have been able to happen without the WBC. But no, the WBC just inserted themselves to get paid. You know, they didn't want to miss out on being a part of that fight. You know, the fight was actually put on by Turkey Al Sheikh. You know, he got Canelo, paid him his bread, and paid Terrance Bud Crawford his bread to have that fight. You know what I'm saying? And so the other sanctioning bodies being in, you know, they get their money from the fight, you know, the sanctioning fees and all of that stuff. And that was what the WBC's interest was in the fight. You know, people act like that the fight wasn't going to be able to happen if the sanctioning bodies wasn't involved. It could have been, even if none of them sanctioned the fight probably still would have happened, you know, because Turkey Al Sheikh was paying for the fight. He was funding the whole thing, you know.
Can I ask you a question? Right.
Go ahead, brother.
So here we go with this. Right. So that all the people that say the belts don't matter. Do you see Bud? What was Bud doing on his retirement? What did he show in the ring? What was
Showing all
laying
his
in
belt,
front?
like his belts
Every,
was laid out and shit.
every single title, right? And then if he got a display case. Did you see the one with a display case with all the belts on the display? And he's showing every single belt. Like the reason why he's doing that because the belts do matter. It shows a championship. It shows that he resides as a champion of those titles, and he won them. So if they don't matter, why not? Why don't they matter? Because if I'm not mistaken, every born athlete, period, that plays a sport, even if you're playing chess, you're playing for a championship. It's competition, and you're playing to be number one. And a lot of these people don't realize because you get the prize. The prize comes with the championship. When you win, like you said, I was just saying, like if you win chess tournament, do you not get a cash prize? Most likely, you ain't get no damn chessboard. Oh yeah, we're gonna give you a golden chess piece and that's it, buddy. No, they giving you a cash prize with the belt or the title. That's what they do.
Two
It comes
cents.
with
What's
it.
up, Queen? Here she go, bro.
What? Oh, you just read that?
Uh,
You just read that one? Yeah,
there she go.
that's why I started laughing earlier. Um, but yeah, nah, that's what it do though, man. They like every competition. Golfers make they get trophies and still get money on their wins. The NASCAR championships, when they win these races, they get massive amount of monies and they're the championship until they race that event next year. The football championships, they get bonus checks for making it to the Super Bowl and they get a trophy. So at the end of the day, all champions get paid for being champions and they get more money for being champions. So the money comes with the prize. Now, yes, there's a people's champion, right? If you selling out and you can bring numbers, you make some money on top of that. I'm not going to be an oxymoron on that and be like, oh well, just because you're not a champion and you can sell out, that don't mean you make money. No, you can make money any which way, but you can be a people's champ. You know what I mean? That happens. But at the same time, you're not going to make money without a belt. I'm telling you, the belt comes with the money. And that's not for everybody, but it is for most people at the end of the day. So we can have it either way you want. I'm pretty sure if Varincek had went back to his country and not for Keyshawn, he would have made a lot of money over there in Europe fighting for the belts. But he came here, he wanted to make it here because why? The belts mean something to him.
Listen, the belts mean something to everybody. Even these guys' favorite fighter. Let's just keep it up. Move up and down in weight, and fought for what? Belts. So they can sit there and say the belts don't matter. All they want, the belts matter. In their argument, the
Hold on.
belts don't matter when there's certain fighters
Let
holding
me
the
let
belts.
me pull that last comment up by Bradley. So I can address this because
What he say? Oh, Tank the People's Champ.
no, he asked me a question, right? Did I say that? No, I did not. I
I don't
said,
see it. What he
yeah,
say?
that's it. Exactly what you read. I'm saying yes. I'm saying to him no to answer that question. That's a question. I didn't say he just wants me to say his name and say that we're talking about him. I've never addressed anybody
Oh yeah,
particular.
he
You see what I'm saying? He's inserting Gervonta Davis so we can say we're talking about him. I'm not talking about Tank. I'm saying in general the people's champ. Tank has a title,
man, you
right?
know
He's
how
a
they
world
get about
champion.
Tank, bro.
Oh,
You know how they
he's
get about
laughing.
Tank,
Look at him.
bro.
He's
His
laughing.
favorite color green, bro. They know he likes Skittles, bro.
Listen, man. He's a world champion. So I'm not gonna call him a people's champ. You know what I mean? I'm just talking generally.
How he not the people's champ, bro? His
I,
fans said he
listen.
like to taste the rainbow, bro. What you talking about?
Stupid, bro. Anyway, and I'm just saying you have Canelo, right? He was a title holder. He was big with fans. You have what's the other cat name? Uh, Jake Paul. He ain't got no belt. If anybody, the people champ is that guy. He about to get his ass knocked out. But I mean, his face punched in. But regardless, you know what I mean. The people's champ is the person that's most popular with the fan base. If you want to call him that, Bradley, that's on you. I don't think he's the most popular. But I'm not going to mention him, and I'm not going to drag this into a take conversation because I know what you're trying to do, homeboy.
Ray, how you like and make stuff bigger on the screen? Like how you zoom in on this? Because I could bring it up, but I can't zoom in on it.
You got to pinch it.
I can't. The whole screen just go.
Oh well, I said,
Yeah, I guess I got to be on computer to do that.
yeah, I
But
can
if y'all,
scroll.
but if y'all look down at the bottom there, though, it says clear as day that the WBC do acknowledge Bud Crawford as 3 times undisputed. Because people, that's a narrative that's going around. People trying to say that the WBC don't acknowledge Bud Crawford as 3 times undisputed. And right here on their website, at the bottom right there, it say his unparalleled run includes becoming the first male boxer in history to be the undisputed champion in 3 weight divisions: super
Okay.
lightweight, welterweight, and super middleweight.
Right. But
Right there on the WBC website, bro.
so then we have to then
So
we
that
have
narrative is cooked right there.
okay, but then we have
Listen,
to show respect as others have
he
said
was
in the
never
past.
undisputed. Why did they strip him of the WBC title? How can you be stripped of something you never had?
That's true. It's
Make it
like
make sense.
no, that's
Just
true.
just
But
simplify it like that. How
but
can
I
you
will
be stripped of something you never had?
but
That don't even make no sense.
I want to touch base on what we talked about earlier, right? So now if we bring this whole revolving door back to Teofimo, if the WBC is recognizing Terrance Bud Crawford in your favor, you have to understand that the WBC has recognized Teofimo Lopez. So we have to give them the credit of that. Now that's only in the WBC's eyes because no other sanctioning body recognized them as that. But we just have to acknowledge that if we're going to go with the WBC only recognizing that, we have to acknowledge what they recognize with Teofimo Lopez. Just to be honest.
Salute, J man. Yeah, man.
That one is for flyer because like I said, the WBC they don't speak for the WBA or the IBF.
Right.
And if you go to their websites, because they have websites where
Oh
you
yeah,
can go
yeah, I know.
to months and years of their rankings and champions and everything, those sanctioning bodies don't recognize Teofimo as the WBC champion in those time in the proper time frame when he was in the mix with all the belts. So
Hey,
there you have
Teofimo
it.
Lopez got beat by George Cambosis.
And
And
what's the common
how
denominator?
they announced him on when he was fighting Devin Haney,
What's the common
a unified
denominator? Hold
champion.
on, check this out. What's the common denominator with Mauricio Suleiman, Teofimo Lopez, and Canelo Alvarez? Nobody know? Oh, I guess nobody know. I figure y'all would take a
No,
guess at it.
Teofimo Lopez not Mexican, bro. He from
Doesn't matter.
Honduras.
It doesn't matter. They're Central American, Latino. ESPN.
Oh, so you think they taking up for him? Well, they
Yes.
was taking no, but I no because they was taking up for Lomachenko, and Lomachenko ain't
No,
he?
but they
He
didn't give
from Ukraine,
Lomachenko. They
bro.
didn't tell Lomachenko that he was the main champion. They said he was a franchise belt with a non-transferable belt.
No, but after they
They,
clown people
they,
start clowning them, they switched it up and said Devin was the Pride champion,
I
bro.
know what they said, but they still never said the franchise belt still never left for what it was. They never said it was the full championship of the
They
world.
no, they did.
No,
They was trying to
no.
switch it up. They said
Go
he was the
listen to
true
that. Go
champion.
listen. No, exactly. That's what they said. They said that, and they also doubled down, saying that it allows him to move up and down in weight. Listen, that same interview, he broke that down, such as Canelo, without losing their title. That's all he said. He said Canelo dropped the belt. I mean, Loma dropped the belt, and Devin Haney has become the
Hey,
champion.
hold on, Ray. Look, he said Shakur also said TEO was really undisputed for
Oh
real.
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, we know, but we know what he doing. No, Shakur just trying to hype up his
Yeah,
opponent,
exactly.
bro. He trying
You
to
got
give
it.
his opponent,
Come on.
you know what I'm saying, some extra accolades and
You
stuff.
got it exactly. And if you really, and you got to also remember, Shakur Stevenson was also part of that top ranked crew. So you know what I mean? Some biasness going on with top rank.
Bradley, Ryan is ducking, bro. If he wanted to fight Devin, he wouldn't be fighting Barrios right now. He'd be trying to
Listen,
fight Devin. After he got knocked on his pockets by Rolly Romero,
they called him out
Rolly
right away.
Romero said he didn't want to fight Devin. He said that he think Devin and Ryan should fight each other. And then what Ryan do? He ran away and faked a hand injury and then started talking about some mental health stuff. And then Oscar De La Hoya jumped out defending, talking about it's going to never be a rematch. That's what he said.
Yep, that's what he
Oscar
said.
De La Hoya
That
said all of that, bro. And so now people try to pretend that Devin don't want to fight
That's not true.
Ryan. No, it's the
They
other
call,
way around.
they sent
Ryan
the
is playing
contract to
games.
him.
Ryan is trying to fight uh Mario Barrios, and then he gonna try to double back and fight Rolly. He not gonna try to fight Devin Haney, bro. I don't believe y'all don't
I
see the
don't think
play
he's gonna
like that.
fight. I don't know why Ryan ain't fight his guy. And you know what he trying to lure you into, right? He trying to lure you into a Lamont Roach conversation with that other guy. So don't say that. Don't. That's what he's trying to lure you in.
No, that's cool. He could lure me in. I'm cooking a toast today, bro.
So Bradley trying to get us. He trying to get somebody to talk about that little guy that nobody want to talk about. We leaving him out the conversation. Bradley, stop bringing him up. You trying too hard, bro. You trying every which way.
Bro, they gonna keep on, and then I'm gonna expose them, bro. How they told me that they favorite fighter like to taste the rainbow, bro. I'm gonna
Yeah,
expose them.
I'm not talking about none of that. I don't want to talk about. Look at him laughing. Look, he know what he doing. He trying to find the route, bro. His
They gonna
GPS,
make me expose them, bro.
his GPS is going nowhere. Look.
They be
His,
on that weird energy.
his new tracking. Find a new road, Bradley. Messing
Hey
with it,
man,
bro.
but the WBC, they recognize Bud is undisputed. It's
Yeah,
on their website. Can't nobody dispute that. Those fake narratives is cooked, bro. The WBC recognized him as 3 times undisputed. You know, he got stripped now, but it don't matter because he's retired now. The accolades is under his belts already, bro.
he trying to say
He
he
three
he
times
don't.
undisputed.
Bradley said he don't know what kind of Skittles he like.
Shout out to Bullet.
You're
Yeah, man. Listen, man. These guys just gotta be honest, man. Just because you don't like someone, that don't mean you gotta just cap and come up here and lie and try to discredit them for what they accomplished and shit, man. It is what it is, man. Give Bud his credit and just deal with it. Everybody out here just moving frantic and shit, trying to come up with lies and shit. Like, come on, bro. It's getting sad at this point, man.
Yo, Blue
100%.
Hustle Man, what's good, bro? I see you in there.
We done went back to this Tiafimo Lopez shit. Like, bro, we already done went through this shit
Yeah, we
already.
already cooked it, but it's different people in
Then
there.
niggas
That's
want to
why.
bring in the WBA super and the WBA regular. Like, come on, guys, just stop, man. Just stop. Just stop. They think just because you like someone, you're gonna cap for them.
Man, they
That's
only
not.
bring it up.
That's not what it's gonna. That's not what's gonna happen.
No,
Say that card that happened in May, right? Let me ask you a question, Flyer. Say in May we got Haney and Ryan for that WBA title, right? And say Haney won the fight. Would Haney be the WBA welterweight champion of the world?
That was for you, frequent.
How
you
about
said
you?
if Tank came. You said if Tank came up to one for
No, no,
one. For,
no, no. That's not what I said.
say it again.
We all saw the card in May, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
The night Rolly became a champion, right?
yeah.
Now
Mm-hmm.
say that was Devin instead of Rolly, right?
Yeah.
And Devin won that fight, and that was for that WBA belt. Would he be the champion after beating Ryan?
Hell no.
Thank you.
No,
Simple as that.
they know he wasn't the champion, and I don't know why they just were saying that because they don't like Devin. That's all.
Simple as that.
Simple as
So
that,
you don't
bro.
have to cap just because you like a guy. You don't have to cap
Everybody know that
for your fighter.
Jerron Boots Ennis was the champion. He was the
Correct.
WBA champion. He had the super belt. They, I think they just brought that out of thin air, bro, because he just had the regular WBA belt at first, and then they gave him the super championship to give to throw that WBA on the line for Ryan and Rolly, because
Yeah,
that came out of
they
nowhere.
made
It
the
wasn't
standing
even
Jonas fight for the super to justify that Rolly and Ryan fight for the regular.
yeah, yeah, but the thing is, they usually get the they usually reward the fighter with the WBA super after they become unified.
No, it was no. The winner of that fight was gonna be the super. Stanionis wasn't the super already, so
I know because it was a unification bout though, right?
yeah. That's a fact. Did that
Yeah,
happen?
but that's
That
what I
happened
mean.
after.
When it
That
went
happened
once they
after the main card.
unified, they usually give it to him though.
Correct.
Yeah, so but they gave it to him before they put it on the line. I mean, they gave it to him before he actually won the fight. You know what I'm saying?
The Rolly and Ryan fight was before Stanionis and Boots.
Wait, was it? Was it? I can't remember.
Freaking bring about other
I
No,
thought it
okay.
was though.
That Boots fight was in April, if I'm not mistaken. April or March, and that Riyadh card was in May. So
Yeah. It was after.
they was
Yeah.
Boots was already the super.
Okay, yeah. He was up.
Yeah, Boots was already the super.
Okay, yeah. So the WBA but they just put that on the line for Rolly and Ryan though.
Correct.
Because that belt wasn't on the line initially. They just inserted that belt in there.
Bring me
That's
up.
the
Bring
same
me up
belt
in the
that
my other
swear
account.
that Ali had, and that's the one with the lineage. But
But
let them tell it.
I thought what they was trying to do though with that, I kind of low key thought that they was going to try to get Ryan Garcia to fight Boots instead of Devin, because I was thinking that they
Oh, he did call out Boots.
I was thinking that they was going to try to get him to fight Boots instead of Devin, and try to do Devin dirty with that rematch or whatnot. Because I couldn't
Either way you
understand why
look
would
at
they
it,
put that WBA on the line like that, out of nowhere. And the WBA gives you a straight line to the WBA super, right? And so I was thinking that the winner of that fight was going. Everybody thought that Ryan was going to win that fight. Nobody thought
remember,
that Rolly was going to win. A few people did think that. A few people did pick Rolly, but I mean, on a whole, everybody expected for Rolly to lose that fight.
hold on, wait a minute. The winner of that fight was named the mandatory to fight for the belt.
Yeah, I know. That's what
So
I'm
did the
saying.
champion vacate because he was avoiding the opponent, or he couldn't make weight no more?
No, but Devin was
Did you hear
supposed
what
to.
I said?
Devin
Did
was.
you hear what I said?
Yeah, but listen though. When they before that fight went down, before that card went down, they was remember Turkey Al Sheik had that little it was like a whole commercial or whatnot. A Devin and Ryan rematch, you know what I'm saying? But it was like Rolly Romero and Ramirez wasn't even there. They was just, advertising that card, as Ryan versus
Yeah,
Devin.
it
You know
was.
what I'm
Yeah, they
saying?
had
No, they,
Before
argued.
they
they
made
even
it. They
fought,
made a
and
snip.
because I
They made a
remember people
snippet
was
on the
complaining
commercial.
about that. People were saying, "Yo, how they gonna do that? They skipping past the fights or whatever that's going on and everything. They acting like Rolly Romero ain't even there. That's what the Tank fans were saying.
Yeah, they had Devin in all black
Because
and Ryan in all white.
all of the Tank opponents, the people that Tank knock out, they become dear to they close to their heart all of a sudden. So they were like, why they throwing Rolly wrong? They throwing Rolly wrong, man. They don't even got him in the commercial. And so
No,
yeah,
Rolly was
originally
they
it
were
was
in the
supposed to be for
commercial.
the rematch, but then I think the WBA did that. I don't know if Turkey Al Sheik and them had something to do with that, but the WBA inserted that belt in there, and made that winner of that fight the mandatory to fight Boots. You right.
Turkey has a partnership with the WBA, so that absolutely makes sense.
So actually, what happened was TEO was supposed to win his fight. He was supposed to take on Boots, right? That was part of the plan, the whole project. Devin and Ryan was supposed, if they had won their fight, they were supposed to take those two winners supposed to take on each other in their fight. The winner of those two fights was supposed to fight the winner of TEO and Boots, and then Devin and Ryan was supposed to fight, and they were supposed to fight that way. That was the plan. The way it was like a almost like a bracket system. Rolly ended up winning. Devin won. They still tried to make the fight with Rolly right away. Rolly didn't want the fight. Said he didn't like the way Turkey ran the business or whatever. Then you heard Tiafimo talking about he wanted to fight with Boots, and then when they didn't offer him that fight, then they offered him the Devin fight because Ryan ended up turning it down after Rolly did. So they tried to offer to fight the TEO fight to I'm sorry, Devin fight to TEO. TEO turned it down because he tried to say it was the money. So
Hey,
it was a
hold on,
whole
my bad, Ray. I got my bad. But I just we need to know this too, man. It's a lot of people trying to switch around what Devin said. You know, remember Devin said that the fight was at 147, and he said when they asked Boots didn't want to accept the 147 fight. He counter offered with 152. People
right.
was running with a narrative now that the originally the fight was at 152 and that Devin counter offered. But that don't make no sense because they was trying Turkey Al-Sheikh was trying to get the fight for Devin. He
Devin
was
was trying to
asking
fight for the championship. He was trying to fight for the belts that Boots had. So they was trying to make that
but it's a
because he didn't
narrative
drop the
going
belts
around
yet.
though.
Yeah,
But
he
it's a
didn't make that.
narrative going
Yeah.
around though, Ray. I was on
Well,
a couple panels,
no,
more
he
than one
didn't. He didn't
panel,
make.
and they
Well,
all saying that
he didn't drop the belts yet. Regardless
hold
of
on.
what they say, I know. I'm debunking that now.
But
Regardless,
listen, let me present it though, bro,
go.
before you try to cook on it. They're saying that somebody on Boots' side, I think they probably went to one of the channels that one of the pro Boots channels or whatnot,
Well, I
and they
don't know. It
saying
had to
that
be
it came
YSM.
from they're
Could be
saying
one
that
or
it came from their side that Boots was offered the 152 fight first, and then Devin tried to bring it to 147. And so they're saying, you know, on these other panels, they say, oh, Devin is known to lie, so we trust what Boots side say more, and this and that and the third.
You
People
know,
like to pick and choose when they want to
two,
accept what Boots say and all of that. You know, when they want to.
two questions I have for not for us, but for next time somebody says that. Ask them, have they ever lied? Do they tell lies? Because they always like to call somebody a liar like they never lied before, which is diabolical, right? So how do we know they're telling?
But that's
Oh
not.
no. I'm just saying. How do we know they're even telling the truth about what they're saying at that moment? Let's keep it real, right? Another statement is, how do they know Devin's lying? What evidence do they have besides presenting someone else saying something, but they never heard Devin say it? So if they're not presenting the evidence of somebody saying something, particular being Devin Haney at that time, and they have no evidence of it, of a denial or this or that, and the man is clearly saying that we offered him a fight, and he told us no, he wanted to fight at 152, and thus what he said is he calling it a liar because we never heard Boots debunk that, have we? So until it's debunked by Boots and Jerron Ennis himself, then I don't want to hear it because Jerron actually said if you didn't hear it from him, it didn't happen. So they're going to go with that narrative, right? But he never debunked it. So I mean, it can go.
I mean, I'm curious to what this video is that they're saying that, you know, switches it around. You know, saying that the original offer was 152 and that Devin was trying to bring it to 147, which makes zero sense to me, bro. Why would somebody start off with trying to get somebody to fight a catch weight of 152 with Devin when Devin his last fight from that point was at 144? So you're trying to get him to skip past. I don't think Turkey Al-Sheikh would try to get Devin to skip past 147 to go to 152 when he just fought at 144. It just be hard. It don't be credible to me. It'd be hard for me to believe some of the things that they be coming up with. These narratives be crazy, man. You know, and especially the fact that Devin Haney is the one that's in good light with Turkey Al-Sheikh. Boots is not. Turkey Al-Sheikh, you know, Boots like turned down a couple of his offers. I don't think that Turkey Al-Sheikh was, you know, happy with, you know, his negotiations up to that point with Boots. You know what I'm saying? So he was and given that we know that he was trying to negotiate a fight with Devin, it was TEO at first, TEO pulled out, you know, and then it was Boots. You know what I'm saying? So if he's asking Devin who he's going to fight, why would he they make it seem like he was in contact with Boots first? You know what I'm saying? And he asked Boots about the fight in Boots, because I think Boots would want to fight at 152 as opposed to 147 because he was going up to 154 already, right? So saying that the fight was presented at 152 would mean to me that Turkey Al-Sheikh and them was in contact with Boots and them first before they asked Devin about the fight, you know? It just don't make no sense.
Yeah, I'll be able to show you that now.
What's this right here
My
you
bad.
got?
I made a little error earlier when I said Rolly was the mandatory. Gearsoft was the mandatory for Boots. My bad.
Yeah, yes, off. Yep. But no, so this is what I was telling you to play earlier.
I,
You said
I
you couldn't
posed
get
that
it.
same question. Did he duck Gearsoft, or
Mm.
he just couldn't make the weight anymore?
Let,
Sounds
let me
kind of
put let me
familiar.
put this up
Sounds
what
kind of
Ray
familiar
put.
with the Haney and Sandor Martin scenario, huh?
Ready?
We don't hear it though.
Can't hear anything.
We don't hear it though, Ray.
Can't hear it.
No, we can't hear it.
I don't know why. I ain't got. All right, my bad. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, we good. So you got to do that. But anyway, it says in the new, and they name all the titles, but undisputed, which is crazy. But
Yeah,
that's all.
they didn't say undisputed.
Hell no, it never was, bro.
Dang, I made a mistake and kick that ball. Yo, I tried to take the joint off the screen that he had on there, and it kicked him too. But yeah, man, we
Hold on,
already know.
Flyer. I got it. Let me play it.
But you gotta go ahead.
Teofimo Lopez. And Glenn Feldman scored this contest 115 to 112 for your winner by split decision. He's still undefeated. And the new IBO, WBO, WBA, WBC franchise, and Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, George Ferocious
Yeah, you
Cambosa.
notice they definitely did not say undisputed.
Yeah,
Nothing
my
about
bad.
undisputed there.
They
I
did
had the
not
wrong
say
button.
undisputed, bro.
Huh?
They did not say undisputed
No, they didn't. Oh,
when
you watched it?
Cambosis beat him. But yeah, I mean, it's easy, man, to cook they toast, man, because history is on our side. All we got to do is go back and pull the stuff up, man. They
Well,
just be saying stuff just to say it. And once you tell one lie, you got to keep on lying
right.
to make everything make sense.
And it's crazy. Like I said, even with the WBA Super, man, like we talked about this. We came to the agreement of what took place. The you know what I mean? I get that Funny Man was talking about, well, the WBA is the real title. Da, da, da.
Hey
Well,
man,
the men
I was on Cam J Network. I was on
who
his panel, right?
who
And some dude hopped up there and
oh
he tried to tell me that Devin Haney was trying to fight Boots at a catchweight. He said Devin Haney was trying to fight him at 152, and
nah,
Boots wanted to fight him at 147 for the belts. I said, "Yo, you got it mixed up. You
you
got
should
it
have just let
backwards."
him have it,
He
bro.
like, "No, no. Devin Haney is the." He said, "Out of all of the fighters in boxing right now, Devin fight the most uh catch weights out of all of them." I said, "Yo, bro,
What?
you got it mixed up. Devin only fought one catch weight." Yo, and they
I
was
would have
all
I
quiet.
would
I
have
said, "Yo,
laughed.
man, y'all just gonna sit here and be quiet and let this dude tell this lie right here, bro? Y'all ain't gonna correct them." And it took them a while before they actually tried to correct them. Well, they did correct them, and they
They're
was
not gonna correct any
somebody.
lies in their favor. That's their problem.
It was
Right.
like
See how
somebody
we
pulled.
you see how we can have a discussion, and if you don't hear something correct, we interject and we're on the same side.
Exactly.
That'll never
Yeah,
happen over with those guys. The
yo, they was
GTGs
quiet
anyway.
as hell. I'm like, yo, I said, you making them look bad, bro. You over here coming out with crazy information. You got them looking crazy right now. I said, none of y'all ain't gonna correct them right now. They was quiet as hell. And then all of a sudden, it was like somebody pulled them to the side and was like, yo, man, because they was talking low as hell. They was like, yo, man, no, he definitely wanted Boots definitely wanted to fight Devin at 152. Devin was trying to fight him at 147 for the belts. And he tried to argue it back a few times, but then they just kept telling him, and then he started riding with it. I said, "Yo, man, it took all of that, man, for y'all to do. Why y'all didn't just tell him if you nip it in the bud in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? It looks more
Yeah.
respectable, but yeah."
Got that dude sweating, trying to argue with you, get his energy all up. You know what I mean?
And
Ultimate
then
Bunch
I told
Warrior.
when I
bro,
told him he
bunch
was
of
cooked, he
capping is
talking about
going on.
how. When I told him I saw him in another chat. I told him he was cooked. They talking about how. Somebody
I
was like,
remember.
"Oh, I was there, man. You lying? He ain't get cooked. What? How he ain't get cooked? He came with some crazy information and got called out on it and was wrong. And
Hey,
his guys had to tap him on his shoulder and say, "Yo, that's not what happened, bro."
yeah, yo, check this out. He right, bro. Listen, at the end of the day, there's always gonna be you wrong, they right. You gotta let them have it. Let them have their little fake victories, bro, because they want to be right. Sometimes people just want to be right just to have an argument and for argument's sake. I ain't into all that argument sake stuff anymore, man. I'm done with that
I'm
because
into the facts, brother. That's a
that's
fact.
it. That's it. Present it to me. Show me. I'm in the show me state, right? Show me. If you're not gonna show me, I'm not really in the show me state, by the way. I'm just saying generally, like if you ain't gonna show me, then I don't care what your opinions are. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about your questions because I think somebody was asking somebody a question the other day. I think it was you, Dink Father, was asking a question to somebody, and that person was like, "Nah, you ain't asking me no question. I'm gonna ask you a question." I'm like, "What? You got to answer my question?" And I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy." And if it wasn't you, then it was Blue. I can't
Yeah, they
remember
try
who
to
it was.
keep telling you. They keep trying to ask you a question, but they don't
Yeah, I'm
want to
like,
answer
yo,
your
let me
question.
talk. Let. How you gonna ask me a question? I'm not here to answer your question. If we're debating, then we're debating. And if you're gonna ask me a question, I'm gonna ask you a question, and we got to be fair on it, or it's not a debate. It's a one-sided shot show. If I'm gonna be if I'm gonna be on a one-sided side show, then I don't need to talk to you. You know what I mean? Bring me some facts, bring me some proof, bring me some evidence. And when you bring evidence, make sure you play both sides of the evidence. Because we can all clip up tapes and show different clips that support our arguments. So I don't want to hear that either. I want pure facts. I want to hear A to B to C all the way up to D. I don't want to stop at A, clip out B, play C, and then not even go to D. No, I want the whole thing. Because once you start clipping stuff up, then you're not really presenting the evidence. It's whack. And that's what you get in a lot of these arguments.
Hey, I wanted to ask y'all too.
Go ahead.
Wait, who y'all got winning? Bud versus James Tony at 160, bro.
What? You got to be kidding me, right?
Bud
We never
Crawford.
saw Bud at 160, brother. Come
I
on,
know we
man.
did, but we saw him at 168 though.
James Tony in his prime versus
James
Bud.
Tony at 160, bro. Bud Crawford at 160.
Hmm.
Who y'all got?
Um,
I might be
without
going with Bud, man.
throughout history, yeah, Bud. I don't like
Bud
going
might be a
against
little
Bud,
bit more
bro.
disciplined around him than
And
Tony. I'm
and
not
being
sure.
that, yeah, and being that Roy Jones figured out James Tony, I wouldn't be surprised if Bud wouldn't figure him out. Look, I was gonna say James Tony at first, but I had to think about that. Bud figures out the game plan, bro. He figures out what your weaknesses are and attacks them. See, a lot of fighters like to try to use the weaknesses to exploit the fighter, right? They don't attack the weaknesses. And what I
But
mean
look,
by
but
that
look,
is,
but look, this the thing though. She said y'all ain't want to say it. But look, this the thing though. Even if you
nah,
got
I
if
was gonna
even
say
if you
Tony. I
got
was thinking
James,
about it.
look, this the thing though. It's opinionated. It's your opinion. Even if you would have said you got James Tony winning or whatever, just because I say
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
got
Saying that would
Bud
never happen.
winning. People, yo, I was on a panel and they act like I was crazy, like I was being argumentative just because I said that I got Bud winning, bro. I said no, I got Bud winning. And as long as you got a sound reason why you think that you can explain why you think Bud wins, I think Bud is just too I think Bud is too fundamentally sound for James Tony. You know, I think that James Tony have a hard time, you know, just catching Bud clean. You know, and Bud is a superb counterpuncher. So I think that, you know, I think that it's a good matchup and everything, but I won't be mad at somebody if they say James Tony, they got James Tony,
I
because
thought
James
about it.
Tony was a beast at 160. But
Yeah,
just
I
because
thought
I
about
think
it, man.
Bud would win, that I don't think that it's a crazy, you know, pick to say that Bud
Yeah,
wins that fight, bro.
listen. I literally was going to say James. I promise you, I was going to say James Toney, and I had to really think about it. The dude, Bud, has always figured out his opponents, bro. Like it's crazy. I don't know if I would go with. I don't know. I'm still gonna
Yeah,
stick with
look,
Bud.
this exactly. Look, that's why I said Bud is a superb counterpuncher, bro. He
I would
knows how
still
to
say
punch
Bud.
you. He know how to catch you when you in the middle of your punch, bro. That's how he
Right.
knocked out the boy. Who was that? Jose Benavidez with that uppercut.
Yeah.
Caught him right while he was trying to throw a punch.
And not and also
Caught Earl like that.
right. And also the fact that you figure James, like I said, Roy Jones was able to figure out James Toney, which a lot of people had a hard time figuring out. Even Holyfield couldn't figure him out. So at the heavyweight division. So yeah, I'll favor Bud, man. Bud just looks like he just bro, he's a fighter, bro.
Hey, look, and then on top
I
of
don't
that,
think he gets no
we never saw Bud lose. We never saw him lose. So you can't point to no fight to say, yeah, that he lost here or this how you beat him. We never saw Bud beat, yo.
nope.
So, for people, you gotta fathom it, you gotta come up with something in your mind to see Bud on the canvas, bro, losing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Listen, man, I would have loved to see Bud do a little bit more. Get a little bit more names on his resume. To straighten up that resume. But hey, man, it is what it is, man. Shout
And
out to
you
him. He did what he was supposed to. Left the
Look,
game with all his
I got one more,
faculties.
I got one more question. One more question for y'all. If Bud was to fight one more person, you can get Bud to fight one more guy. Who would that person be?
Boots at
If you could
160.
get him to have one more fight.
Boots at 160.
nope.
Boots at 160.
Why
Boots,
why 160?
Shit, that was the weight he was gonna go to.
Boots at 154 though. You trying to push Boots up there?
no, I don't
Yeah,
see
man.
Boots.
Crawford call the shots. Pull up.
Yeah, I understand that. What about you, Ray? What would be your fight?
Um,
It's me halfway.
something we never got. Something we never got, and I think
It's a lot we never got, bro. We ain't get the
right.
Boots
I
fight.
would want to see. I would want to see Thurman and Bud.
Oh, come on. Don't nobody want to see Keith
I don't
Thurman,
care.
bro.
Listen, we didn't get it. Hey,
But
listen, listen.
Keith Thurman can't beat Bud, bro. We
It
saw
don't
Keith
matter what
Thurman
he. It
lose.
doesn't matter what I think.
You think
Don't,
about 2018, 2017,
I
right?
don't. Hey, we didn't get it. You asked me what fight would I want to see Bud in.
Oh yeah. I think Keith Thurman in his prime,
Yeah,
I
Keith in
think
the
Exactly.
prime.
You
Yeah,
never
Keith right now,
specified.
no
You,
way.
that
you
would
said
be a good fight. I still don't think he beats Bud though. But Keith in his prime, I would have wanted to see that fight. But since we saw,
so. You if
now
you're talking
Keith
about
being weak to the body and all that, we know Bud
Bro would have
it's
stopped
gonna
that
be
nigga
easy
to the
work,
body
bro.
easily.
Bud
so
to stop him, bro.
so if you're
Would have
saying
been a tough fight though. Keith could fight.
now if you say one more fight left for Bud before he walked away, that's a different question.
Come on, that's the
Uh,
same question, bro. That's what
no,
I'm
you
talking about.
said who
One more
would I
fight.
want to? You said who would I want to see him fight if he could?
Yeah, one
One
last
more
time, not
fight, bro,
not in the
before you walk
past or
away, bro.
All
anything.
right, yeah. So you now that's clarified. That's a good question, man. I don't know. I would probably say,
Hey, here go a good one right here, bro.
Bully, you funny,
Look,
Bullet. That's
Bradley 68 about to have a heart attack, man.
yeah,
Don't say
man.
that. We just
I'm
playing,
not,
Bradley. We just playing. We ain't
nah,
gonna mess with
I don't
We ain't
want to
gonna
see.
do that
I
to
wouldn't
little
want to see the
man.
Boots fight. I wouldn't want to see the Boots fight. I think Boots is an up and coming fighter. He's in his own. Unless it's a passing the torch moment, I wouldn't want to see the Boots fight. So
It's a
one more
passing the
fight.
torch moment, win or lose.
Man, one more fight. Jeez, I don't know, man. I mean, because when I said that Bud was going to have one more fight or retire, that one more fight was Canelo. So I ain't say I want to see it, but that was my thoughts. If he was going to have another fight, is going to be a rematch.
I
Hey,
thought he was
y'all put it in
targeting
the chat.
Janabek.
Who would y'all want to see him
Let
fight?
me
If
see.
he had if you
Charlo.
could
You know what?
one
Jamel
more
Charlo.
fight.
Jamel Charlo.
Jamel or Jamal?
Jamel Charlo at 160.
Yeah, that's a good fight. But I think Maul is better than Jamel though.
Yeah, but that's at 168. I don't want to see Bud fight Jamal.
No, Maul was originally at 160.
I know where he was, but he ain't making 160, bro. He at 168.
No, when he went, didn't he fight the one when he went to 168? He ain't
You're
go all the way,
saying his
did he?
last
He went
fight
all the
now,
way.
bro. You got to remember your question. Your question is now. I don't want to see him fight at 168. He don't want to fight nobody else up there. So I would say Jamel at 160. That's the fight I would like to see him fight if it was one more on the table.
Okay, so yours is Jamel.
Yeah, some fire.
I gotta say, man, mine. What do you say? Bud versus Laura. Since Janet Beck was on steroids.
Bullet, I agree with that, man. And now I'm pushing for Spence to fight Laura for that 160 title as his comeback fight.
Man, Laura ain't beating no Bud, man. I want Bud to fight somebody who, who got a chance to beat him or something. I would say Boots, man. I would want Boots to fight him because I know people gonna be mad at this, man. All the Bud fans, I know y'all about to be mad, but I gotta keep it all the way real, man. Boots is the only guy that Bud ducked, bro. Bud ducked him. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. I see it like that. I see it like that because Bud was at 147 when he fought Errol Spence, right?
Correct.
And so when he beat Errol Spence was trying to move it to 154. And Bud was saying that his team was saying that they thought the fight was going to happen at 147. So, it's almost like they was pressing him to fight at 147. But when Earl was saying that he couldn't make 147, he wanted to go to 50, the next fight to be at 154. So you know what Bud team said? They said he have to put it in writing. So they made him put it in writing in order to make it at 154, in which the fight never happened. So the fight never happened. Look, Bullet Gibson coming up, bro.
I can see.
So look, hold on, let me finish though. Hold on, let me finish. So the fight never happened, right? The fight never happened. Before Bud fought anybody, Bud ain't even know who he was going to fight. They stripped Bud and gave Boots the title, bro. And remember, I think Bud was sitting in the car, going off on the IBF because they stripped him. You know what I'm saying? So at that point in time, bro, was the perfect time. Bud was 2 times undisputed. Boots had the IBF belt at 147. Bud last fight was at 147. And Bud had all 3 of the other belts. All Bud had to do was fight Boots. That one fight would have been for undisputed. He would be 3 times undisputed already. And then he would be, if he would have beat Boots, if he would have went and fought Boots that one fight, because he was already, his last fight was at 147. So if he would have beat Boots and took that IBF back, he would have been undisputed again, just like Canelo did with
I don't
Skull
believe
or whatever.
in that. I don't believe in that.
Or whoever he went back and forth. What you mean? I don't think that. That's what
I
happened.
didn't say I didn't think. I said I don't believe in that. I believe that.
Wait, hold on. How you don't believe in that?
Hold on.
It's simple. Bud had the 3 belts. Boots had the 1 belt.
Listen, let me ask you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been undisputed. I said I don't believe in that. I believe you already captured that. You already crowned yourself king of that division at that point. So if you're going to chase greatness, what you do is you go up to the next division and you try to accomplish the same thing or unify or get a title there to become a multiple division champion, right? Which you already had. So now he became a 4th division champion, 2 division undisputed.
You think okay? So you think that was better than
3 division?
Hold on. You running down too many accolades right now. We talking about in one fight. I said in one fight he could have became undisputed. What that one fight with Madrimov don't trump him being undisputed fighting Boots. And he was already at 147. He had to move up to 154 to fight Madrimov. That's why I say he ducked Boots.
But the fact that he just did an interview and said that that was his last fight at 154 anyway. I mean 147 anyway. He was moving up with the Madrimov fight. He just did an interview on that. He already knew he was moving up.
All right, man. I'm gonna take the duck back. I'm gonna make an exception right here, man. But in normal circumstances, normal circumstances though, that would have been a duck, bro. But since it's Bud Crawford, the Water Walker, I'm willing to sweep that one under the rug, bro. I'm willing
Hey,
to give him a
Go
pass
ahead,
on
hey,
that.
bro.
freak. Hey, I'm just sitting back listening to the cook, man. We got to cut the bullshit. Bud Crawford, them team offered Boots team to fight him, rather before the David Avenesian fight. His
Yeah,
team said no. They declined the fight. They
no,
said
they
no. That's
couldn't.
point.
No, they said they didn't say
No,
no.
no,
They said
it wasn't.
they
It's
didn't
not that.
say no. They said they was.
They
They
said no.
said they was in a. They said they was in a deal with They was in a deal with Showtime. So with Steven
Frequent,
Espinoza. And
frequent.
Steven
Bud
Espinosa
was a
shut
free
it down, bro.
agent.
He shut it down.
That's what I'm saying. His team said no.
Yeah, because they
Steven
was loyal to,
Espinosa.
but they
I ain't
went
know.
they
I
went
don't,
the IBF route. And
but
because they
look,
went the
no, hold on, hold on,
IBF
hold on,
route so
frequent.
they could
Hold
fight him
on.
though, right?
No, he went after Earl. Well, yeah, the IBF route. Yeah, he went after Earl.
Yeah,
He didn't go
because
after Bud.
look that was
But
and let me tell you
Bud
why.
Bud offered him to fight. Though. Look, hold on, freak. Let me get mine on real quick. Bud offered him to fight. He also because
Okay, hold
I
on.
want to put it
Let me
clear.
correct that one last point. I gotta correct right there. Bud didn't also offer him the fight. You know what I'm saying? BLK Prime was just getting, trying to make a fight, get 2 fights. So they got Bud, and then they asked Bud, would he be willing to fight Boots? He said, yeah. Then they asked Boots, would he be willing to fight him? So it ain't like Bud just reached out and tried to fight him. So that's, it was BLK Prime just trying to put a fight together. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, they reached out. They reached out to Bud. Bud agreed. Bud, was willing to fight whoever. He wanted to get a fight in between the Spence thing because the negotiation was starting. Bud said yes. They reached out to Boots team, regardless of how you want to put it, his team said no. And he had the ability to fight him. I know because Steven Espinosa said he didn't want to step on Spence's toes. But regardless if that's true or not, how you gonna dismantle one of your other superstars' careers and stall him out for another one when one is up and coming and one is already there and they was already at the negotiation table? He had the opportunity to fight, but his team said no. They didn't take it. But when it
Because they
falls
no, they
Spence,
couldn't take it
hold
because
on,
of
hold
that
on,
on the
hold
screen
on,
right there.
no. What?
That on the
Oh, you
screen
know
right there.
Showtime?
Boots was signed to
Frequent,
Showtime, so
frequent,
he can't fight
frequent.
on no
Nigga,
other
Hold on,
network. He
hold on,
couldn't
hold on,
fight
hold on.
on
Yes, he
BLK
can.
Prime.
Yes, he could. Yes, he could.
so
Yes, he
why?
could.
Yeah,
But hold on, hold on,
and,
hold on. Let me knock this off real quick because I know that people gonna bring it back because I'm finna attack frequent thing with the go back undisputed and shit. He went and whooped Spence, and then he was trying to set up him versus Jamel Charlo, but he was contractually obligated to fight Spence in a rematch. Spence, for some reason, never came back, or however y'all want to teeter tatter. And I'm a Spence fan. I thought Spence was gonna beat him, but Spence never came back. But was being stalled out again by the PBC, and so he said, "You know what? I'm gonna go after another belt." Then they want to push the they stripped Bud once he went up. They stripped him of his belt, and then
Who
people talk about
stripped him?
oh, fight the IBF. The IBF
And you
strip
said
Bud.
once he went up, that was before he fought at 154.
I know that's what I'm saying.
That was why he was
I
that
know.
was why he was waiting
Listen,
for that fight.
hold on. He was finna fight Spence. Remember, he wanted after the Spence fight. He was finna set up a fight with Jamel Charlo. That was going to be the next fight, but he was contractually obligated to fight Spence in a rematch. It got stalled out. They stripped him, and then so Bud is like, I'm not going to waste my time. And I'm already going up. I was already making my way to go up. The only reason why I was staying was for Spence. I understand Boots is an up and coming, but his name wasn't big. Jamel Charlo was undisputed right before he went up and fought Canelo.
No,
Bud went up, and then Jamel went up. Jamel went up and ran from Bud. I don't care how y'all look at it. He ran from Bud. And then that's how the
No,
cookie
the
crumbled. Because
Canelo
Bud was
fight
done.
happened before the Madrimov
yeah,
fight,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
I know
brother. You
that.
got
I
brother. You
know.
So
I'm
how he
brother. You
saying
run
he
kind
from
of
went
cut
up
Bud
me
when
before
he
off a
did
little
it
bit, bullet.
before Bud?
Remember,
because it was the opening.
hold on, y'all gotta remember in the fight, that clip when Crawford is talking to Charlo outside the ring. James Harden asked Charlo, what this nigga talking about? And he like, nigga, I don't know what this nigga talking about. I'm fighting Canelo next. So the Canelo fight was already made for Charlo. What happened was, um, Crawford was in negotiations with Spence for the second rematch. Remember the IBF gave him 30 days to negotiate with the boot for the Boots fight, but he couldn't do that because
Because he
they
was
was
in the contract.
negotiating.
He was contractual. Yeah, he was in
Yeah, he
that
was
rematch
contractually
thing.
obligated with Spence. So then um Crawford contacted the IBF uh a little bit after 30 days and told him he were unable to negotiate with Ennis because they was in negotiation with Spence. And that's when they stripped him.
Yep, yep, exactly. That and that's what I was
That's
going
what.
to say. And that's what I was
So
going to
but
say.
so
That's why.
prior to your
Hold on. Let
angle
me
is
say
not a
this real
duck.
quick. Let
It's
me
not
say
a
this
duck
real quick.
because he was
Let
negotiating a bigger fight.
but hold on. Let me say this though. The reason why I say that it was a duck, bro, is because they try to bring up that thing with BLK Prime, but he was loyal to Showtime. You know what I'm saying? He was signed to Showtime. And so he knew that it was going to be some funny business. So he did the best move, bro. That move to go to the IBF was the best move because when he got when he became the mandatory for the IBF, that made him Spence mandatory, and so he was going to fight. That means he has to fight the winner of the Spence versus Bud. So when soon as Bud beat Spence, he inherited that mandatory. So Boots was already his mandatory once he beat Spence. So think about that. He is mandatory. So when he went into the second negotiations with Spence, the IBF wasn't trying to hear that because Spence was already pushing it back, over. He was already
That's a
supposed
fact.
to fight his mandatory, which was Boots. You know what I'm saying? The IBF, but he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence didn't do it. And so when it came to Bud, the IBF was like, look, y'all ain't gonna keep going back and forth and not fighting your mandatory. So they was trying to enforce that he fight his mandatory before that. And Boots did the right thing because he became his mandatory. Now, when they stripped Bud, this the part that y'all have to look at. At this point, when Bud was stripped and they gave Boots the IBF belt, email title or whatever. Boots was the IBF champion. Bud still had those 3 belts. Once the Spence rematch wasn't happening, he could have just got it. He could have fought Boots and got his belt back for that accolade of being 3 times undisputed. Undisputed is it holds more weight than fighting Madrimov to become a another division champion. What is it? A 3 division champion? I think being undisputed again, 3 times undisputed is a bigger accolade by far than just becoming a 3 division champion, bro. And that's why I say, he chose the lesser accolade.
Not
But Boots
necessarily.
chose to fight
Not
nobody
necessarily.
rather than fight Bud for his belt. That's the same shit.
Because
What? You
They
said what?
after the Spence rematch fell out, he targeted Fundora and
Madrim.
Tim Zoo.
Yeah, but Tim Zoo lost or whatever, and his mandatory was Spence though. But be, regardless though, before Bud even got a fight at 154, before he even had all of that straightened out, he got stripped, and Boots was his mandatory, and the Errol Spence fight fell through. It didn't happen, and so he could at that point in time he could have just fought Boots instead of trying to look for somebody to fight at 154. He chose to not fight Boots and go fight a random a champion at 154.
frequent. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't say
I
not
can't do
fight
what?
Boots. He fought a champion. That's what people be doing that shit. That slick shit. You can't
Boots
say
was a
him going up
champion
to fight
too,
a champ.
No,
bro.
we gotta no
The
wait, hold
man
on. We
didn't
gotta
do shit, bro.
hold on. Bullet, we
Boots was
gotta
a
put this thing
champion
in
too, bro.
perspective. We gotta put this thing in perspective. After the Spence negotiations fell out, he used the WBO rule to move up to become the mandatory for the WBO at 154. He was targeting Fundora and Tim Zoo winner, and after Fundora won, they did all type of ducking and running. And that's how he ended up fighting Madrimov in August of 2024.
Hey, how
Yeah.
many times undisputed did Canelo get? How many times undisputed is Canelo?
Twice at 168.
How did he become 2 times undisputed?
It's the same thing with the IBF.
Yeah, so Bud could have did the same thing. Canelo showed you the blueprint, bro.
Bud could have, but like I
Yeah,
said, when
so
he was
that's what I'm
stripped,
saying.
when he
He
was
could, because
stripped,
I only said that because
when
somebody said this in the chat. They said undisputed don't work like that. Yes, it do. We saw
oh yeah, it do
Canelo do
work
it.
like that. Usyk just did it.
Yeah, Usyk did it. Canelo did it. Everybody's doing it. Bud could have did it
But we
first.
gotta remember when the IBF stripped Bud, he was in negotiations with Spence for the second fight.
Yeah, but I'm saying once
The
it
Spence
fell
fight was
through,
still
Boots was the
possibly could have
champion.
happened.
Once it
Say that
fell
again.
through, Boots was the champion already. So that means before you even got the fight with Madrimov and all of that stuff, Boots was sitting there as your mandatory with the
Look,
belt.
see, I
And you
just
could
looked
have
it
fought
up.
him for undisputed, but you chose to find somebody at 154 to fight for a belt
Hold on.
instead of fighting him for undisputed.
Terrance Crawford stripped the IBF belt November 9th, 2023. And in this article on Boxing Scene, it says Crawford was still in negotiations with Spence. So we just established that when the IBF stripped Crawford, he was still in negotiations with Spence.
Yeah,
He
you making
couldn't.
my
He
point,
could.
bro. You making my point.
No, he couldn't negotiate with Boots if you in
I didn't
negotiations.
say while he was in negotiations. I'm saying as soon as the Spence fight fell through and didn't happen, when Spence said he wasn't going to do it, you know what I'm saying? And Bud said, that and it came out that it wasn't because of Bud. Bud could afford Boots at that time instead of
But
looking for
Spence
somebody
never
at
said he wasn't gonna
154.
do it. That's the thing.
Huh?
They froze Bud out, and then Spence popped up
At the
and
top,
said,
they
"Yo, I
froze
want
him
the
out. They
winner
top
of
they
him
froze him
doing
out at
Fuck Door."
154, you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
but he wasn't at 154 yet. He was at
listen,
147.
if you stripped in November and what you call it in them fought in March, that's only 4 months.
It don't matter. It was before, bro. 4 months before he went up to 154, he was at 147 and Boots had his belt. And he could afford Boots. He could afford Boots for it wasn't nothing stopping him from they was trying to force him to fight Boots. The IBF was trying to force him to fight Boots.
You not
That's why
gonna
they
force
stripped
me
him.
to fight somebody after you fuck over me and take my belt for no reason when I'm in negotiation to fight a bigger fight.
Come
I'm
on,
not finna
bro.
respect what y'all
No,
saying though.
Bud
That's
is going
basically
to
what's going on.
Bud is
Honestly,
going
Bullet,
against what you
it's not
said
effing over
himself, bro.
because the rules is the rules. We see it all the
Hold,
time.
hold on,
It's
but
not him them
but
effing
hold
him
on,
over.
but Bud went against what he said himself. When Bud was just cooking Mauricio Suleiman in that video, Bud said the IBF, he respect the IBF because they did what they were supposed to do. That's what Bud said out of his mouth.
Yeah, in hindsight, you gotta look at it
Yeah,
in
so why you
hindsight.
saying, well,
Yeah,
you try to make it seem like they was
but I'm
doing
saying
something wrong. They did what
at
the
the time,
IBF is the only
at the
sanctioning body
time.
that do what they supposed to do.
No, I know that, but I'm saying at the time, we all know Bud get emotional. That's how this shit go, bro. Motherfuckers moving emotions all the time.
So
At the
you
time,
saying
he
he
probably
ducked
felt like
because he
y'all
got
fucked him over.
emotional?
That nigga,
It
you a
was an
funny guy.
emotional duck.
We
Nah,
gotta remember the
Boots teamed
timeline.
up. All right, so watch this. Hold
All
on,
right,
Dave.
we're
Watch
gonna
this.
sweep that
Hold
under
on,
the
There's a
hold on,
table.
Dave.
I don't
Hold
feel
timeline.
on,
comfortable
Dave.
with
Watch this.
calling.
Watch this.
I don't feel
Watch this.
with
Did Boots,
calling
did Boots, did
Bud a
Boots duck
duck, bro,
Tio?
because Bud is the greatest
Did
fighter of this
Boots duck
era, bro.
Tio? Did Boots duck Tio? Frequent.
No,
Did he
did
duck
Boots
Tio?
duck
did he
Tio.
duck
No, you can't
Giason?
duck somebody
Did he duck
and you can't
Giason? It's
duck somebody in
mandatory.
a different weight class, bro.
No, the
That's the
Tio
rules
them
of the
was up
ducks,
to
bro. You
move up.
can't duck somebody in a different
That
weight
shit
class.
crazy. That shit crazy.
You can't duck a
If Tio
person in a
was
different
moving
weight
up,
class, bro.
then he ducked
That
them.
TO stuff was cat, bro.
Did Boots duck them? Did Boots duck them?
No, I say Boots didn't duck Devin because Boots
That's crazy.
I say Boots didn't duck Devin because Boots was already, saying that he couldn't make the weight no more. He
That's a
said
cap. No, that's
he
not.
did.
Because
He said his
he
doctor
just
said
had
it
a
was
fight.
unsafe, bro.
No,
What you want the
that
man
was
to
afterwards.
die? You want the
That was
man to die,
afterwards.
bro?
He just had a fight and he said, "I'm willing to stay and fight everybody." That's
But
exactly what he
then
said on that podium.
okay, look. So Boots was trying to fight Brian Norman Jr., right? He was and Brian Norman Jr. claimed he was gonna fight Boots once he was done his fight with Jin Sasaki, right? Jerron Boots Ennis announced that he was moving up before the Sasaki fight. It was like the day before the Sasaki fight. He said that he was moving up to 154. So that'll tell you, right there that he wasn't trying to duck Devin. He was trying to move up to 154. He still announced that he was moving up to 54, even though he was about to get the fight that he wanted. He wanted to fight Brian Norman Jr. because it was like a little grudge right there. So he really wanted to fight Brian Norman Jr., but he just couldn't stay there. He couldn't do it, bro. That's why he announced before Brian Norman Jr. even got out of his fight, he announced that he was going to 154, and people was trying to say he ducked him. They was trying to say he ducked Brian Norman Jr. because, before Brian Norman Jr. got out of the fight, Boots was already announcing that he was moving up, but Boots said because it was his doctor or whatever. His doctor told him it was unsafe for him to stay at 147 or whatever. And that's why I say he ain't ducked Devin, because Devin and them wanted to fight. Turkey Al-Sheikh first offer was at 147, and Boots came back with the 152. He made a counter offer.
Before he talking about moving up though, freaking. That's all I'm saying.
But Boots made a counter offer though. It's not like Boots just said no. Boots made a counter offer. I don't think he ducked Devin either. I don't think he ducked. I'm just saying that because you saying he ducked Bud. I mean, you said Bud ducked. I don't think he ducked Devin either. I'm just saying you damn sure can't say Devin ducked him. I know y'all. Bud wasn't in. That was a different situation. Bud wasn't in no negotiations with Boots. He just got up out of there, bro.
Bud was in negotiations with Fundora and Chinzu.
No, he was in negotiations with Spence. No, he was in negotiations with Spence.
Listen, he was in negotiations with Spence all the way up to 2024. In 2024, January, early 2024, Spence announced that he had eye surgery. And remember, Bud went on a tweet spree saying how he wished he could fight more than one time a year because these fighters is ducking and running from him. Right?
But Bud got stripped. Bud got stripped while he was still waiting for Errol to fight him.
Exactly. That happened in November.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So as soon as you found out that Earl wasn't going forward with the fight, moving forward with the fight, you know what I'm saying? Then you obligated to fight your mandatory for that undisputed title, bro.
How is he the mandatory? When
Boots was the mandatory for the IBF.
By January 2024, after the Spence fight was clear, like it wasn't gonna happen.
He was the mandatory. That's why Bud got stripped. I mean,
yeah, but
I said you're mandatory because he was his mandatory. Of course, he wasn't his mandatory no more because they stripped him and gave him the belt. But Bud was real. Bud seemed like he was pissed that the IBF stripped him. He was pissed. He was cooking them and everything. So if you was mad about it, why you ain't go get your belt back? You know what I'm saying? Go get your belt back. They was on $1 million worth of game going back and forth and everything.
That was way before that though. That was when Boots had the IBO title. We can't mix up the timelines, brother.
What? You said what? What'd you say?
That when they was on $1 million worth of game, that's when Boots had the IBO title. That was a couple years back before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was before. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the grudge was there. Bud knew that Boots was on his heels. They had an argument and stuff on $1 million worth of game and all of that. And then they stripped you, the IBF stripped you and gave that man your belt. So you ain't gonna go rumble him? That's what I'm saying. You making my point, bro. That's what I was saying. I was saying that they was on $1 million worth of game going back and forth and everything.
Why waste my time? Why waste my time and help an organization that been fucking me over for years? That y'all had other fighters move around me to not fight me. We talk about the PBC and Showtime. Why waste my time and give another one of y'all guys opportunity when y'all blackball me for years when I can go try to fight another champion at another division and get an accolade regardless?
Yeah, bro. He moved on from the division by 2024.
Look at this, bro. Look at this, bro. Look. See, they tried to say he ducked Brian Norman Jr.
If you're in negotiations with a bigger fighter, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna give Bud a pass for this one, man. But it looked like it was a duck, though, bro. I'm gonna give him a pass for. We gonna sweep that one under the rug. You know what I mean? Cause he the water walker and everything. I don't think nobody could beat Bud. We ain't never see Bud lose, so we don't know if Boots would have beat him. You know what I mean?
Listen, that would have been a
I'm just
great
gonna
fight,
say I'm
man.
gonna be on record saying that's the fight that I would want to see him fight. If I could get one more fight from Bud, I would want it to be
Oh
Boots.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
because of
That'll
that,
be the fight for sure.
But why wouldn't it be a fight you
160.
want to see him in where they got into an altercation, some rivalry, some lineage to that nonsense? What I mean by is him and Charlo was definitely talking to each other, bro. It was real. They was
who?
going at it,
Oh
and,
yeah, that
and
was a little rivalry, but
so that right there,
Bud himself said he ain't want to fight Charlo no more. Bud said that. He said he ain't
yeah,
want to fight Charlo no more
after he
because he
lost
saw
to
what happened
Canelo,
with
after
Canelo.
he
Yeah,
lost,
he saw that he ain't give his all with Canelo. He was
right.
disappointed in Charlo, man.
Right. But that would have been the fight that would have made everybody be like, yo, that's what we want to see. Even me. I was like, yo, listen, man. I rock with Spence, and I was like, yo, you need to run it back for Spence, bro. Like I was all over that, man. And that changed, man. It all changed, man, when it wasn't what it was supposed to be. So the Boots fight, listen, I don't want to take anything away from the storyline and stuff, but why would I? Unless, like I said, unless I'm really passing the torch in a fight, that dude he grown into his own, bro. That boots is going to be there for him to make his own legacy. Why am I going to put myself at high risk, low reward for my belt? You know what I mean, to walk away when I can go fight the guy that I really want to fight, who was undisputed at 135, 154. Makes more sense, man. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
Boots is just one of them fighters that a lot of people hate on, bro. Just like Devin Haney, they hate on Boots too, bro. They changed the rules for Boots.
I
They
ain't
moved the
changing the
goalposts
rules.
for Boots,
These are the
just
things
like
that
Devin
happen.
Haney.
I think these are all the
Don't
things
get
that
me
happen.
wrong. I think Devin Haney is the most hated, bro. But
Is he?
Boots is, he coming up. He may be a second. He may be a second most hated.
Boots? What do you
Yeah,
mean? He's the
Boots.
champ. No, Boots or Bud?
Boots. They
Can't
be
be
hating on Boots.
because Boots is the
Well,
champion, bro.
I say Bud is number two. Bud is number two. It's
Boots is the
Devin, then
champion,
it's
man.
Bud, and then
Every
it's
time.
Boots.
Hold
Boots
on,
is
every
third
time.
most
No,
hated.
Boots ain't hit it, bro. Every time you turn around, fight Boots. Go up and fight Boots.
Look at this guy
Go down and
saying, bro.
fight Boots.
This diabolical. Look what he said about Boots, bro. He said Boots ain't chasing legacy.
Nah, Boots is
He
chasing
did.
legacy.
He
Yeah,
That's
just
I ain't gonna lie,
cap, man.
niggas do be hating on Boots. I just don't like how people trying to after Bud Wood spit, bro, niggas got a grudge. Like they still got a grudge and have this bad feeling in their
right,
heart. Make you I
right.
don't like that shit, so I defend it.
I
But yeah,
don't think
Boots
it
do
was
be getting
because of
hated
that
on.
though, bro. I don't think it was
Nah,
because of
it
that.
is, bro. It is. You got to hear
I
what
think,
it's you on the opposite end. You like Boots, you know what I'm saying? But
But
you
see,
like Devin, so you can see the hate. These other
niggas,
guys, like, they don't even think Devin Haney be getting hated on. As crazy as that sounds.
bro. Listen,
You're on the other end of
I
it.
was that dude. I was that dude. I can't front, bro. I picked Spence in the Bud fight, but I was a
Me too.
Bud fan. I was a Spence fan, and I was a Boots fan. I liked all three of them.
nah, that's
But
a fact.
I really didn't want Bud and Boots to fight. But I thought if they ever
We're here
fought,
for
I
boxing
thought
gloves.
that Earl was going to win. And so when the fight was happening, I picked Earl. I thought Earl was going to beat Boots, but I was wrong. I mean, I thought Earl was going to beat Bud, but I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't stop me from liking Bud. You know what I'm saying? For rocking with Bud, I still was rocking with both of them. I still was
No,
rocking with
not
Earl.
you. It's
Earl
you're a
just couldn't
boxing
see,
fan.
bro.
It's
That's
a
all.
lot of guys. It's a lot of guys that has a certain they don't know how to. This is the sport of boxing, not the sport of little fella, not the sport of Boots, not the sport of Bud. A lot of these guys they take these shit too personal, bro. They take it personal and
Exactly,
they don't
bro.
know how to separate. Boots is a bad motherfucker. He definitely get hated on, but not more than Bud and not more than Devin. Them niggas get hated on the most.
Hey man, look.
Yeah.
Hey, look though. I can play. I was a diehard Earl Spence fan, just like I was a Bud fan. But seeing what happened to Earl, I ain't like to see Earl go out like that. But you know, it's entertainment for me, bro. But I'm in it for the best fighting the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna rock with Earl when he lost. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to throw him away. That wasn't me. But I'm still gonna make fun of the whole situation, you know, because Earl couldn't see. Earl didn't properly decompress when he ran up the mountain, bro. Earl had a broken rib. All the excuses. Hashtag excuses, bro. I can make fun of those things, you know. But I was an Earl fan, bro. I'm still an Earl Spence fan. You know, I'm a Bud fan. I'm a boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? So it's and the reason why I be defending those guys because you know you be having people saying crazy stuff. You know they be trying to take credit away from Bud. They be trying to take credit away from Earl Spence. People say he was trash now. He was overhyped and all of that stuff. No, I just think that Bud was better, bro. Look what Bud done did, man. He done became 3 times undisputed. He went to 147 and went on a KO streak. Did he stop everybody? I think he stopped everybody that he fought at 147. If I'm not mistaken, who did he
Bud
stopped
stopped
everybody, right?
everybody at 47.
He stopped everybody, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Bud stopped everybody that he came across in the division, bro. Cleaned out the whole division. Stopped everybody. People were saying that Earl Spence punched harder than Bud. And I kind of sipped the Kool-Aid, bro. I was thinking that at first. But after seeing what Bud did to him, I was like, oh no, it's no way that Earl Spence hit harder than Bud. You know what I'm saying? We saw Bud hurting Earl with jabs and stuff like that, bro.
Listen, my
The
eyes
thing,
opened.
hold
My
on,
eyes
hold on.
opened in the Sean
Oh yeah,
Porter fight. The way he did
I
Sean
would say
Porter,
this.
that's when I start second guessing everything.
I would say this in terms of hitting harder. His he probably got. I hear you, brother. I hear you. He probably got better uh punch recovery than Spence because we've seen Spence punch guys and break bones. We know Bud knocked niggas out for sure, but we've never seen him break nobody bone. So it's not far fetched to feel like Spence hit harder. It just Bud probably could take a better shot. But and then on the night, it is what it is. Just because you hit harder than this guy, don't mean your chin is better than that guy's as well.
You
You
think
know what I'm
Bud
saying?
just had better punch placement than Spence?
It
Absolutely.
did I think he had way better punch placement than Spence, but it also, even me saying all that, it did look like just the way that the punches with, it did look like he hit harder than Spence as well. But normally it looked like Spence hit harder though, to me.
I think the misconception is this, bro. I think the misconception is this. I think Earl Spence, it was like a buildup. Like he just be punching on dudes. It'd be a lot of punches, you know what I'm saying? He just be punching on dudes and punching on them. With Bud, he don't be throwing all of them punches like that, like wearing you down. Bud will catch you with a perfectly placed punch. You know what I'm saying? He'll hit you right on the button and put you down. You know what I'm saying? And then get you out of there. He was a good finisher. You know what I'm saying? We saw Earl wearing people down with punches and just breaking people will with the way that he fought. I think Brian Norman Jr. was like he was like the Timo Errol Spence, bro. Because that's the way he fight, man. He just going, and I don't know why I was picking Spence over Bud. You know what I'm saying? Because history showed us, bro, already that the person that stopped a brawler like that is the boxer, bro. The boxer puncher is gonna stop a brawler, bro.
Listen,
That's
man, I always thought
I
it was
think both guys are
50-50.
boxer punchers. My fault, Dan. Go ahead, fam.
Earl
Nah,
Spence. I don't think Earl Spence was a boxer puncher. You think he was a boxer puncher?
Yeah, because I felt like he was more technically sound than Bud. Bud, in terms of throw the jab, throw the hook, you know what I'm saying? Like proper punch, mechanics, his punching mechanics. Bud got great punch placement, but his punching mechanics wasn't as sharp as Spence. Spence throw straighter punches. Well,
You
Bud,
think
he'll hit
Spence
you
had a
with some
better
shit.
jab than Bud?
before they fought, it looked like it. For sure, it looked like it.
No, but
I know. Hold
we
on.
know his jab is not better than Bud's. I don't think
Oh,
his
I ain't gonna lie.
defense
I ain't
was
gonna lie.
better
To be
than Bud. I
fair,
think
I
Bud
ain't
is
gonna lie.
more.
Before that,
I
you gotta
think Bud.
remember. Before that fight, the landing of the jab and how Spence broke niggas' eyes with the jab, bro. And shit like it's different, bro.
I mean,
Spence
I was
definitely had
hype
a
about
tougher
that
jab.
first. I was hype about that first, but if you think about it, Triple G broke that face first, bro. And Triple G
Come
broke
on.
his face, and then once your face get broken, it's easier for somebody to break the other side if your eye socket get broken. Triple G broke his eye socket, and then Earl did the other side, man. But his face was already weak, bro. The structure was already weak. So yeah, I'm saying I don't know about that breaking the face part, but them talking about what he did to Ugas, that was brutal right there. Ugas being hurt for all the piss and blood for all them weeks and all of that, and saying his rib was broken and this and that. Yeah, I admit he was breaking bones then, but it was an accumulation. It was like a brutal beating. You know what I'm saying? He was like hitting them with a lot of shots. It was like he mauled them.
mm,
But I mean, we ain't see him do no stuff like that, like one shot,
But frequent, we
KOs or
talking
nothing
about
like that.
it in hindsight though. That's what I'm keep saying. Like people looking at it in hindsight. In hindsight, yes, it looked like Bud had the better because when they fought, we seen it. When they fought, we seen what you got. But before the fights, when you was saying picking who you thought would win, the reason why you picked Earl would win because you looked at it and you looked at both of the tape. Or Earl got the better jab. Earl hit hard. His punch mechanics is better. That's what it looked like until they met each other. That's what I'm saying. We talk about in
Okay,
hindsight.
off the eye test, you was picking Earl, as far as his
I was
fundamentals and
picking
stuff.
Earl, but I was always wasn't sure because I always looked at Bud as a great fighter. I was like, damn, I swear to God, it sounds crazy, but before that fight happened, bro, I had a dream that Bud was beating the shit out of Earl, bro, and it just so happened. It ain't happening
No,
exactly how
I
I
just
dreamed.
I just
Shit crazy.
I just always knew that Bud was a dog. You know what I'm saying? Since when I saw him fight the Gamboa fight, I just knew that Bud was a dog. Because we saw him get hurt and everything, and he still came out. Even fighting even harder. You know what I'm saying? And so I always knew he was a dog, but I thought that Earl Spence was going to probably break his will. But I ain't take into consideration that Bud was a excellent counter puncher. You know what I'm saying? And plus, we ain't know that Errol couldn't see, and he ain't properly decompressed and all of that stuff, and his rib was broke, and he
Come
was
on,
high
bro.
off
Let's not do
painkillers
that.
and all
Ain't
of
no
that stuff.
excuses. Bud just a better
Fly, let's
fighter.
not
Bud
do
just
that.
whooped his ass.
Let's not do that.
We ain't know all that.
I ain't
But
gonna lie.
this boy
Bud just a
crazy
bad
right here,
motherfucker.
bro. He talking about UK fighters got fragile faces.
They do. They do. They have weak face structures. That's why you see a lot of those fighters orbital bones get broken. A lot of cheekbone get broken. Things like that. So,
What they don't
something's
drink
going on
milk
with their
over there,
face.
bro? What they need some calcium, some coral calcium or something over there, bro? What you trying to say?
I'm not sure, man, but the UKI is a real thing. And with the Bud and Spence, I always thought the fight was 50-50. I was Team Spence. But and I thought the pressure would be too much for Bud. But I also knew if Earl couldn't handle the power from Bud, it was gonna get nasty, and that's exactly what happened. And yeah, man, my eyes started to open once I saw that the PBC never wanted to make the fight. And after Bud did what he did to Sean Porter, um, my antennas really went up, and I'm like, damn, this might not go good and shit. If anybody remembers that last show before the fight, um, on KO show, I threw out the stipulation that he didn't have to do all the push-ups if the person that he had to bet with didn't buy the pay-per-view or show proof, and I saved that nigga a couple thousand push-ups, man.
Hey man, I got a nephew in North Carolina. We the same age, but he be watching boxing too. And he was an Earl Spence fan and a Bud fan too, right? And right before the fight, I'm saying, I asked him who he had winning in this fight. Because it's not like I was just picking a fighter, like one that I like more than the other. I wanted one to win. I just was picking the person that I thought was going to win the fight. And so when I asked him who he had for the fight, he said, I like Earl, man, but I think Bud gonna knock him out. I said, dang, why you think that? Because I ain't never see Earl, I just couldn't see Earl getting knocked out. You know what I mean? And I said, why you say that? He said, yo, man, because Earl Spence ain't been himself, man, since he been in the car crash and all that. He said, you saw what happened to him with Ugas, like Ugas was catching him and stuff. He said, Earl ain't never get hit that much before, man. He said, I think he got sloppy. He don't fight the way he used to fight when I first started watching him. I thought my nephew was crazy, bro. I was like, man, you crazy, man. Earl ain't getting knocked out. I think he gonna overwhelm Bud. After the fight, start happening, I called him back like, yo, how you know, bro? Like, this is crazy.
Well, if you look at the
You know what I'm
landscape,
saying?
bro, I'll never forget Derek James and them always downplaying Bud Crawford. That
Yo,
always
but
stuck out to me. I'm like, yo, they asked Derek if you watch film and he broke down Terrance. He's like, nah, I ain't watching. Like he ain't nothing special to watch. And I'm like, yo, why are they trying to discredit this nigga like this? And then
yo, but
even the week of the press conference, when they mentioned Bud being the first two-time undisputed male, this nigga Derek James came out and was like, man, TEO already did it. I'm like, why is this nigga capping like that? But
yeah, that's crazy.
that just show you that like they knew what was gonna happen and shit, man. Al Heyman wasn't stupid, man. They did
But
everything in their power not to
Hey,
try to make
you
that
know what
fight.
did it as
They could
well
try to
though?
put
You know what did it as
the
well?
blame on Bud all they want. They never wanted to make that fight.
Nah, that's definitely the PBC. They didn't want to make the fight. But what did it for me as well, I was what you said with that, when they was downplaying Bud, and like a little bit before the fight, I was it was a YouTube channel, I think named Joseph Bissaint or something like that. You know, he do the greatest moments or something like that of certain fighters. And then I just remembered I was looking at the shit, and then it was the thing with his mom, how the mom, how
Yo,
Bud just got a different anger, bro. He just an angry motherfucker. When Bud mama said she ain't love him and shit like that. And I'm like, damn, bro, I don't know.
hey, man,
This
tell the
just
truth though.
something
When you
different.
first, when that fight was happening, when Earl first came out, the Earl didn't look like something was wrong with him. I thought Earl looked like something was wrong with him when he
Earl won the
first came
first
out. He was
round,
he was
bro.
he was like real red. No, I'm talking about when he came out and he was standing there about to make it do his ring walk. I was like, yo, why he all red? His face all red and everything. He looked real weird to me. Like
I
he
didn't
ain't
see
look
that.
right.
I didn't see that. I might have to go back and look. But Earl looked like he was himself to me. Uh, he looked strong in that first round. Um, and I thought he won the first round of that fight. And then we all know what happened in the second round, and it went dark after that.
So he ain't look like he was high off something to you, bro.
Nah, not to me, man.
Yeah, he looked like he was high off something to me, bro. And he looked real red. Like, you know what I'm saying? His skin looked real red. I was like, yo, Earl looked like something wrong with him, yo. And the way his eyes was,
I
like,
don't want to give him no excuses. For he just got his ass whooped, bro.
And
It
I
happens.
mean,
I'm Team
hey,
Spence,
hashtag
man,
excuses,
and I
bro.
was
You
rooting
gotta,
for.
look, some excuses is valid though, bro. You know what
No,
I'm saying? Some things you can actually, you ain't see the video when Showbiz showed Earl Spence getting up and his rib was looking like it was broke already.
no, I ain't never see that video. I don't watch that guy.
Yo, man. Yeah, Earl Spence they said Earl Spence had a broken rib, bro, a
He got
fractured
his
rib.
ass whooped.
And and and
If
and
Devin
from
Haney lose a fight, he just lose a fight, bro. I'm gonna always still support him.
yeah,
Spence just got he just got
Listen,
his
man.
ass whooped, bro.
Shout out
so
to
well,
Spence.
it's
I can't. Nothing came out after that. All of that is he say, she say. There were no official reports. Spence
but Earl went and got his eyes done though, bro. He couldn't see in there.
he did make that excuse saying that's why he kept getting hit with all of those jabs. But hey, brother, you had about you had between April 20th, 2020, you had between April 2022 and July 2023 to fix that. No
Th-
excuses, bro.
Diggle one of my fellow excuse makers, bro, right there, bro. Excuses, more excuses.
That was a
We
funny video
spamming,
he
we
did.
spamming the excuses like Street Fighter, bro.
We have to see how. Remember how PBC did Bud after the Earl fight as well, man. They try to freeze that nigga out and shit, man.
Yeah, he said, look, even somebody else, there goes somebody else right there. He looked lethargic, bro.
Listen,
It
man.
definitely looked like something was wrong with him, man. Something was wrong with Earl, man. Earl couldn't see.
How
He
did
had to
Haney
get the
look in the
surgery.
Ryan Garcia fight, Flyer?
No, but hold on. But Earl Spence though, you know what he should have done though? Earl Spence should have stuck to his guns because after he lost the fight, he came out and said that if he had an excuse, he wouldn't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? He was like standing on all 10 toes, bro.
But he basically implied that
He
it
was
was the
standing up.
weight. He
But
basically
people was
implied that
cooking
it
him
was the
so
weight.
much. People was cooking him so much. He was like, "Hey man, I gotta say something, man. I gotta
Listen,
let
man.
them know what
The,
really
the,
happened,
the, the
bro.
only
My
the only
ribs was
valid
broke.
thing what I
I
was
couldn't see."
the only valid thing I could say is that he might have been at the weight too long because he was implying after the fight that he wanted the rematch
Yeah,
at
he wanted that
154, and he
154.
was
Yeah,
saying
he was
154
tired of
was
getting
next.
down to that weight.
And his moves after that fight was he tried to target the winner of Fundora and Zoo, which was Fundora, and that was at 154. We can't forget he went in the ring after Fundora won that fight
Facts,
and
bro.
tweeted the week
Respect
of
to
that fight
Earl.
that he wanted next.
Respect to Earl Spence because he forced them to make that fight, bro. They didn't want to let him fight Bud, but he
Absolutely.
wanted that fight. This is why I be saying Lil Man could have fought Devin at 135, bro. He became undisputed in your weight class in front of you and was calling you out and all of that. And you gonna say you ain't gonna fight him because because they talking bad about you and stuff. Come on, man. This the hurt game, bro. It's pugilism.
Listen, those guys got a ton of excuses, man.
Yeah.
Ton of excuses, man. A side when it's special privileges, this that. I'm not even gonna get into it, man, because all those narratives has been exposed as early as of September of this year. Every narrative they dropped, they named, they came up with, they spun, it all went away within 24 hours. If anybody want to see something funny, go look at that Monday live on KO show before the Jake Paul announcement happened, and just watch the chat, bro. Pure comedy.
Hey, Teach, what's up, bro? Teach hopped up here. I want to give him a chance to say something before I go off or something. What's up, bro?
Yo,
You
yeah, I
had
see
something
you
to say?
guys have been giving credit to Bud, so I just came up here to give some credit as well since he's retired. Man, I think Bud pretty much left the sport pretty much as a complete fighter in this era and undisputed, and bro showed like elite skills. And he made some good business decisions when he became a free agent with the Earl fight and with going with Turkey. So, hey, dude did good for himself. I see a couple of, I see some people talking about, Bud's resume. Deem talked about it. I think I saw a clip with Oscar or something talking about, his resume, and that, he never pretty much fought anybody, pretty much just Spence and Canelo. But the thing is like, if
Oh man, what happened? We lost you, bro. Teach, you still there, bro?
yeah, I'm there, but you guys could cook though. You guys could cook.
What happened? It had when you was talking and then it just clicked off. Oh, something must have happened. Yeah, man. Shout out to Bud Crawford, man. Bud Crawford is the number one pound for pound fighter of this era, in my opinion. Um, I got him over Usyk and anyway, and all of those other people you can possibly try to throw up there, man. Bud is number one. I appreciate all the fights that he gave us, man. It was some awesome fights. Even though people try to cook his resume, man, I thought his resume was pretty good, man. You can't really control the fighters of this era, because you know who else you want him to fight? He went up to 147 and stopped everybody, bro. You know, he stopped everybody. Sean Porter popped through in the towel and all of that because he knew what was coming, man. I think Bud was about to stop him. You know, we saw Earl get stopped, you know what I'm saying? The first person he went up there and fought was what was the white boy name that he fought? That
Jeff
beat
Horn.
Pacquiao. Say it again.
Jeff Horn. He whooped Jeff
Yeah,
Horn.
Jeff Horn. He was moving up to the weight class and he stopped Jeff Horn. I think that was a sign right there. You know, he was coming up to just getting up to the weight class and he stopped somebody. You know, somebody who gave Pacquiao a hard fight. Even though I think they robbed Pacquiao, you know, I don't think they should have, you know, gave that fight to him. But, you know, he had a hard fight with Pacquiao and Bud just could get up there and stop him. You know, and you know, Bud stopped everybody else. He fought at 147. So, you know, shout out to Bud, man. Anybody else want to give these flowers to Bud, man? Give Bud his flowers, man.
Bud made Mike run from him. He made Adrian Broner run from him. He
Listen,
beat the
man, Bud
guy
is a
that
great
made Danny
fighter,
Garcia
man.
run.
He's a legend. Best
Yeah,
fighter
Bud
of
did a
this
lot of shit.
era, of
Wait, why
his
you say
era.
AB ran? What happened with AB?
He skipped 140 because he knew that Bud was, you know, coming to the weight
You said me?
class.
Oh, at 140 you talking about?
Yeah, he had skipped 140 because of, you know, Bud was coming up to the division. He was officially making this 140 debut, I believe, at that time, around the same time frame. And then he beat the guy that they say that made Danny Garcia go up to 147. I forgot his name. The tall guy, Vincent something. He was I think a unified champion. He beat Gamboa. He's the first person to beat Gamboa. Bud got a hell of a resume, bro. A lot of people like to shit on him.
For
And
sure,
Bud
man.
whooped a lot of people. He whooped a
And
lot of
and,
people. It wasn't even close. None of these fights was close. So
and then he thought he did what a bunch of people thought was impossible, bro. He went up 3 weight classes and fought Canelo Alvarez, the best guy up there, bro. And you know, people try to say, you know, 2 weight classes, but I say 3 because, you know, he just dipped his toes in the 154 division before he went up there, man. That's all. He just had to grab that one accolade real quick, you know, before he went up there. But shout out to Bud, y'all. I'm about to shut it down, man. We've been on here for over 2 hours already, almost 3 hours. You know, y'all smash the like button on y'all way out. I appreciate everybody else who came in the building. I appreciate everybody up here on the panel. And Bud is still 3 times undisputed, bro. For anybody who missed it, you can see right down here on the WBC website. So they recognize it. It says his unparalleled run includes becoming the first male boxer in history to be the undisputed champion in 3 weight divisions. And they name the divisions right there, bro. So them false narratives that he not undisputed no more and all of that. He never was 3 times undisputed. You know, we can put that to rest now. Like Oskino said, we cooked they toast and we out, y'all. Salute.